invite all to rise for the opening prayer, to be followed by the singing of the national anthem.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم آمين يا رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم اجمع شمل المسلمين والكريستيان والأمة في مدينة دمشق وسلم دائما مجتمعنا هذا بالسلم والأمن والتقدم في بلدنا هذا آمين يا رب العالمين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على خير خلقه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today to praise and worship you and give you thanks for all the things you continue to provide for ourselves and our families. Father, we humbly ask for forgiveness for all the times we have offended you, when we forget to acknowledge your presence in the image of our brothers and sisters, and for moments we fail to be good stewards of the blessings you have given us. Continue to guide and protect each one of us, Lord, that we may always walk in the light of your everlasting love and mercy. Grant us, Father, with your comfort in times of distress and with your strength in times of weakness. Bestow upon us your unending grace and healing, that we may in turn become instruments of gentleness and compassion to others. We ask all this in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, with the prayer and the intercession of our Blessed Mother. Amen.
Please be seated. On behalf of the Cooperative Development Authority, we extend our appreciation for taking time today to attend the meeting of the National Coordinating Committee on Cooperative Development, NCCCD, Subcommittee on Agriculture and Industrialization. With this, we acknowledge the following partner agencies and institutions which are members of the NCCCD of this subcommittee. Departments of the Agrarian Reform or DAR, Department of Science and Technology, DOST, Department of Trade and Industry, DTI, and to the Commission's, Bureaus, Instrumentalities, National Irrigation Administration or NIA, Philippine Center for Post-Harvest Development and Mechanization or PhilMec, Philippine International Trading Corporation, PITC, and Philippine Fisheries Development Authority or PFDA. It is also proper that all invited officials and observers are acknowledged. Please accept our warm greetings to the CDE Board of Directors, the Chairman and Undersecretary Joseph B. Encabo, Assistant Secretary Mirla B. Paradillo, Assistant Secretary Abdul Salam A. Ginomla, Assistant Secretary Virgilio R. Dezaga, and Assistant Secretary Pendaton D. Disimban. Our respect to the Deputy Administrators of the Cooperative Development Authority, Deputy Administrator Ray R. Levaso of the Institutional Development Services, Deputy Administrator Attorney Elizabeth O. Batonan of the Registration, Supervision, and Examination Services, Deputy Administrator Attorney Maria Lourdes P. Paca of the CSF Services, and Deputy Administrator Attorney Leah Banagihan of the Legal Affairs Services. And our service directors, Ms. Mildred S. Esguera, Director of the RSS, and Mr. Joselito O. Halasgo, Acting Director of CSFS. At this point, may we invite our Board Member 3 and Acting Administrator, Mirla B. Paradillo, to deliver the welcome remarks.
Thank you, Lester. To our dear Chairman Yusek Incabo, to my fellow members of the CDE Board, Asik Ginumla and Asik Lazaga, to all the deputy administrators and CDA personnel, and to our colleagues from partner agencies in the National Coordinating Committee on Cooperative Development, Agriculture and Industrial Subcommittee, a pleasant and blessed morning to all of us. First and foremost, I would like to thank our colleagues from the different government agencies for accepting CDA's invitation to participate in the meeting of the NCC-CD Subcommittee on Agriculture and Industrialization. Republic Act number 11364 stipulates that CDA, as the lead government agency in cooperative development, shall be in charge of coordinating the efforts of all government institutions towards molding and empowering cooperatives to become instruments of equity, social justice, and economic development. Acknowledging that the cooperative sector will be enriched by the synergy and harmonization of all government programs, the NCC-CD was created to provide a comprehensive and inclusive cooperative technical and financial framework. Indeed, our first meeting held last February 15 helped strengthen the mutual collaboration among all members of the NCC-CD. Our focus was to achieve the efficient and effective enforcement of inclusive and progressive initiatives for cooperative development. The first NCC-CD meeting also became a venue for our partner agencies to share information about their programs and services for cooperatives. Taking a step further, the NCC-CD, through the authority, calls upon the Subcommittee on Agriculture and Industrialization to strategize and develop a working framework for the implementation of the presidential directives on consolidating and empowering Filipino farmers through cooperativism so as to accelerate the nation's agriculture, boost food security, and improve their standard of living. Today, we will be focusing on the proposed cooperative agriculture framework and how the different cooperative clusters and government agencies can support and intervene in the improvement and implementation of the said framework. As proven leaders in our respective government agencies and cooperative clusters, we are expected to contribute to the enhancement of this framework and to ensure that it will be enforced effectively and efficiently for the benefit of our farmers and their cooperatives. With this, I wish everyone a healthy and productive discussion. May God guide us and bless our efforts as we strive to give our best for the agriculture cooperative sectors. Welcome to the NCC CD Subcommittee on Agriculture and Industrialization meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Secretary Mirla B. Pardillo, for the welcome remarks. Honorable members, guests, CD officials, and CDA personnel, today is Thursday, August 31, 2023. The meeting of the National Coordinating Committee for Cooperative Development NCCCD Subcommittee on Agriculture Industrialization is about to happen here in Sequoia Hotel in Quezon City. At this juncture, we would like to turn over the floor to the chairman of the NCCCD, Yusek Joseph B. Encabo.
Good morning, everyone. Before I give my message, I'd like to extend my heartfelt appreciation and thanks to the following persons in attendance. Ms. Risa Faith Buraga of NIA, ma'am. Good morning po. Ms. Meline Hover, NIA also. Good morning po, ma'am. Ms. Ana Margarita de Vera of PhilMec. Ms. Janet Manalo, our good friend, our partner from PFDA, ma'am. Mr. Ferdinand Apari of DTI, boss, Mayong Buntag. And Sir Julius Cesar Sica from DOST. Good morning, sir. Sir Joel Rodriguez, PITC.
Good morning. Good morning.
Dr. Romoli Chok from PITC, the CEO and President. If you have plans to have a good business transaction with your agency, Dr. Romoli is the right person. So, we have also Dr. Ronald Garesa of DAR. Okay. And of course, Sir Regente Yoleda, OIC. We would also like to acknowledge Ms. Mariel Roque. Hello, ma'am. Again, good morning, everyone. And to my fellow colleagues in the Cooperative Development Authority, I'd like to thank you for your attendance this morning as we partake in this dynamics of discussing a framework that may be suitable and applicable to our agricultural community, particularly to the agri-cooperatives. The Cooperative Development Authority is somehow mandated to take the lead in this NCCCD. The NCCCD is not only a task, but a measure on how to address possibly the crisis on our agricultural sector and how we can contribute in coming up with resolutions to it. Our agency cannot act alone on this, but we need to strengthen the collaboration and partnership with different agencies identified to be part of this agriculture cluster and industrialization cluster. As we embrace the context of a whole of government approach, we should also align this one with this a multidimensional approach. Every facet that is being considered is crucial and significant. Every action taken as a way forward mechanism should be open for discussion and recommendation, at the same time provide with necessary parameters in order to implement it properly and efficiently. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear colleagues in public service, the different agencies, as it has been expressly mandated, the creation of the National Coordinating Committee, I'd like to thank you for taking time in joining us in this exercise. And I hope that the output they're going to have at the end of the day will be a factor that can be considered by the other agencies in order to put fruition on our plans and programs. With this, I am calling this meeting into order. By the authority vested in me by law, the meeting of the National Coordinating Committee on Cooperative Development, Subcommittees on Agriculture and Industrialization will now please come to order. Section 10 of the CDA Memorandum Circular number 2022-2022, or the guidelines governing the creation of the NCCCD, designates the IDS, or the Institutional Development Service, through the Cooperative Project Development Assistance Division as Secretariat, who shall be responsible for ensuring that NCCCD activities are properly coordinated, organized, facilitated, and documented. The committee secretariat is now called upon before the committee to report and to confirm a presence of a quorum.
Mr. Chairman, with the inclusion of the Philippine Coconut Authority, there are now 8 member agencies in attendance out of the 10 agencies stipulated in Section 4 of the CDA Memorandum Circular 2022-22. We are pleased to report that there is a quorum.
The presence of the quorum is established. Thank you very much. May I request the Secretariat to please present the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, here are the agenda of the meeting of the National Coordinating Committee on Cooperative Development, Subcommittee on Agriculture and Industrialization for today, August 31, 2023. For the presentation of the proposed framework for strengthening agri-ecosystem and the sharing of the cooperatives cluster's role, interventions to complement the framework, the CDA cooperative clusters, that includes the finance cluster, the CMPL or the Consumer Marketing, Producers and Logistics Cooperative, Agriculture Co-ops, Public Utility Services and Human Services, will be presented to us by the CDA Chairman, Yusek Joseph B. Encabo. The identification of the programs, project, activities to support the cooperative agri-framework will be presented to us by Mr. Rayar Levaso, Deputy Administrator of the Institutional Development Services. He will also be facilitating the government agencies' commitment and recommendation on the proposed framework. And the last one is the resolution for commitment and support of CDA and NGAs in the framework of strengthening of agri-ecosystems. Mr. Chairman, all of the committee members present are also given printed copies of the program flow that includes the list of the agenda.
Thank you very much, Lester. So I just transferred place so that I'll be no longer walking from one point to another. Any motion to approve the list of agenda? There is a motion. Any second? So the motion is approved and is carried. So the Office of the Chairman will present the proposed framework for strengthening the agri-ecosystem. So again, let me take this opportunity to each and everyone who is around and present today that the CDA is proud to present a framework that would solicit and may possibly contribute to the agri-industry in our country today. But before I present, let me walk you through the basis of our action. There was a presidential directive issued to us by the Office of the President, dated February 28, 2023. And let me highlight or underscore a very important paragraph. In the course of the discussion, the President directed the Cooperative Development Authority to identify the resources and strategies needed to develop more agricultural cooperatives and enhance the management skills of these cooperatives. Another directive that we'd like to present to you to supplement our action and activity today is a directive dated, next please. I'm sorry. Which one, the right or the left? Right? Ayan. Okay. So let me highlight also what was the instruction. The President underscored the need to strengthen the CDA towards accelerating and consolidation of agricultural cooperatives and to provide additional funding for this purpose. And the third one, during his SONA, the directive includes not only being led by the Department of Agriculture, but somehow requires the CDA to take action on it as well. Accelerate farm and fishery clustering and consolidation and establishment of livestock multiplier farms. Now, these are the directives of the President which has been downloaded to the CDA to take action on this. Out of our efforts, we were able to come up with our own framework, which is about to be solicited to your different agencies, and looking forward on how our agencies can be partners and collaborate on the ways forward mechanism. Let me present to you a framework. The cooperative cluster's roles and interventions to complement the agriculture framework. So I am consolidating all the reports of the different clusters of the CDA, which are the finance, the consumers, marketing, logistics cluster, the education advocacy cluster, the agri cluster, the human services, and public utilities. But before that, okay, here's the presentation outline. Okay. Perspective on strengthening the agri-ecosystem, agriculture cooperatives, finance cooperatives cluster, human services, public utilities, education, advocacy, consumer, marketing, producer, logistics cooperative clusters, as mentioned a while ago. Now, this is the collective framework of the Cooperative Development Authority. Before I go into the details of this, but if you could see, every portion of this entire framework, a pie, a portion of this has its own established relationship. And I believe each one of you here will agree with me because it has been a practice and it has been implemented by the different government agencies as well as with CDA. Let me share to you the first pie of this entire framework. The Cooperative Development Authority is expected to strengthen and take the initiative on coming up with agreements, if possible, and stronger collaborations with the different agencies at that. If we're going to look at it, the government agencies includes, kayo po yun, NIA, PFDA, BFAR, PITC, DTI, DA, and so on and so forth. So, if we already established a relationship, I think it's high time to come up with reviews and revisit our agreements for that matter. Because this is one way of responding to the directive of the President. Programs, projects, and activities should be aligned. You know that. Programs and activities or projects should be trickled down to the different agricultural cooperatives or even to the associations and organizations. But one of the advocacies now of the national government to ensure proper implementation, the government today, especially or specifically the Department of Agriculture, stipulates and clearly provide the instruction that we should focus now on cooperatives. Why cooperatives? Cooperatives is a more formal organization, well-established, organized, and at the same time, the capacity holding and hand-holding programs are consistent to their articles and bylaws as well as to the framework and to the mandate of the Cooperative Development Authority. Without underscoring the importance or the contribution of every agency that is also involved with it. Now, There is a way how Cooperative Development Authority can strengthen this by coming up with a merger and consolidation program. A lot of agri-co-ops are small and micro in nature. To strengthen their capacity and their capability and their potential, we need to merge them or consolidate them so that their resources will grow big or even bigger. Their human resource will be able to experience and undergo more training, hand-holding, and capacity building programs, not only from CDA, but from the different agencies like you. They will have more access to the services of every agency that is involved in this. That's why the first PI of this framework, the relationship of the CDA as being clearly stipulated in the NCC CD program is to really strengthen and identify measures how to come up with more concrete, solid, and profound programs for our agri sector. One approach, or the second approach that can be considered, is this co-op captive program. As mentioned a while ago, there are a lot of micro-cooperatives and micro-cooperatives and small cooperatives, small farmers cooperatives need to be strengthened, need to be reinforced. So there are big cooperatives that are somehow very welcoming in adopting and supporting other micro and small cooperatives to be part of their growth and programs and activities. No? So the micro and small cooperatives will also benefit of the activities of these big cooperatives, and the big cooperatives will patronize, support the resources of this micro and small. So there are two approaches here, the merger and consolidation and the co-op captive program. That is why the first PI is very crucial here. The first PI indicates that the services of the government should be felt and should be seen by our agri-farmers cooperatives. The importance of this partnership, strengthening of partnership, is that there will be no overlapping of programs. Sometimes, tendency is that one agency implements almost the same program, and it creates confusion among cooperatives. At the same time, it's also good to know and to polish guidelines that will benefit our cooperatives as well, our farmers cooperatives. Other programs allow other cooperatives to be qualified under it, but other agencies sets differently and it's in its implementation process. So it's good to review the agreements and the collaboration by looking at the policies and guidelines and avoid overlapping and confusing implementation activities. The second PI is that the relationship of government agencies to agri-co-ops as beneficiaries or sector with the GFIs and FIs. Now, I don't know if we were able to invite SB Core here, no? And but definitely we'll be presenting this one to Land Bank, DBP, SB Core, agencies that belong to NCC, CD, Finance Cluster. We're presenting this one, my dear friends, because the government agencies, like for example, BFAR or PFDA, can provide technical assistance and compliances to the government financial institutions or even other financial institutions to ensure that these cooperatives, these agri-cooperatives or sector are compliant to your agency as well as to CDA. somehow, like for example, Land Bank provides loan to a cooperative, but at the end of the day, as being assessed by CDA or by other agencies like DA, they are not compliant to the requirements as being required. So it's good to know that if possible, there could be uniformity in our guidelines and in our requirements being identified as to be complied by our agri-farmers cooperatives or the agri-sector itself. That alone, that measure alone, will ease the doing of business, no, of our micro and small cooperatives. Then, that's where the GFIs and other FIs can provide financing or financial inclusion. There are cases in our regional areas that other cooperatives have been downloaded by financial institutions, yet they are not compliant to CDA. Meaning to say they are not in good standing. So we have to ensure that these cooperatives can really perform what is expected from them, and once they're given this financial assistance from our FIs and GFIs, they can really manage the financial resources well. Yung iba, pabigay-bigay lang for purpose of compliance, for purpose of completion, but we need to ensure that for the GFIs and FIs to be more efficient and ensuring that the proper downloading of finance is being observed, the government agencies like you and even CDA can download these technical assistance or observation or recommendations and even compliances. The next pie is that the agri-co-ops or the sector can also benefit out of the GFIs and local international distributors relationship. In what way? Once the GFIs and financial institutions is able to download the right amount of financial support to the agri-sector, the agri-co-ops and sector are confident enough to engage into any levels of marketability, no, or this value supply chain. And they can now directly engage with local and international distributors. With the help of PITC, at that, maybe we can come up with a framework on how our international or foreign distributors or players can go directly to the agri-co-ops, eliminating or reducing these bad practices among traders, if that would be the case. Local distributors or players or consolidators can also go directly to the co-ops na rin, to the agri-farmers. And, of course, with that ecosystem, it can be supplemented and reinforced by the different clusters, which I'm about to explain later. How we can bridge the relationship between agri-co-ops or sector to the local and international players. Now, what is the relationship between GFIs and FIs with the local international distributors? If there is strong confidence in the market, even the international or foreign distributors or players or providers can come up with strong investments program for growth among agri-co-op sector. And even the local will have strong instrumentalities in coming up with more engagements, business engagements among local players and even taking advantage of their distribution program to the different parts of the country. So, as they identify the co-ops or the sector, the agri-farmers co-ops or the sector itself, that there is this availability of resources to be distributed locally and internationally, then we could establish stronger ties and marketability among themselves. Now, the next pie in terms of relationship is that the agri-co-op sector will benefit with the relationship between the local and international distributors and players to the local consumers or individuals. In what way? As mentioned, it will diminish or eliminate traders, and the local and international distributors, as they have their own packaging, marketing strategies, that will be patronized by our local consumers and individuals, and the consumers and individuals would avail of a fair, reasonable, affordable prices in the market. Because we were able to eliminate now or diminish these bad practices among traders. So the relationship with the local distributors would boost up. The engagement will be robust in that sense. The local distributors, international or foreign distributors, will have more confidence in them because they've seen it and they can sense it, that the trend on their products as being patronized and being supported by the consumers and individuals is getting higher every time. So, marketability is in place. The next pie and the relationship of, or this framework, is that what is now the relationship between consumers and the information technology platform? And that would benefit our agri-co-op sector. The information and technology as a platform nowadays, it is not just only a trend, but it's already a way of life, a culture for us. It provides linkages to value supply chain. Remember, information would dictate as to where to go, what do we need, help us identify our needs, and at the same time, it produces more participation coming from the local and even international market, and even our consumers and individuals. Every time we engage into business right now, we always refer to internet. Look at the different websites in order to avail of those resources. And the information and technology platform that we're going to establish it will also provide access to food security to the consumers and the individuals. Why food security? Because it gives them the right information, the right references, the proper way of engaging and availing of those resources, particularly food. So it's not monopolized, meaning to say there are a lot of choices, there are a lot of options that will be offered to them. So if we have a very strong information and technology platform, of which later on, the information cluster that includes the ICT, will also supplement the needs of our agri. When it comes to inputs, or fertilizers, or mechanization, the information provided by PhilMec will be very crucial, will be very significant. The information coming from the OST when it comes to technology, the farmers would now avail of this information. So there are a lot of access that can be provided, and it would result to a better food security program. Another pie that would benefit the agri-sector is the role of the academe and its relationship to information and technology platform. The academe, we can take advantage of our SUCs, of our private schools, our colleges, our universities, that identification and sharing of information can be a tool to reinforce the inadequacy of those information that should be provided to the sector itself. Meaning to say, there is sharing of information, there is downloading of information. Even on the technology process, the academe can teach through research, studies, and training to the agri-sector. And once this research and studies and training, it can be downloaded to this particular so-called information platform. the websites, different websites, social media. The academe can come up with a continuing activities that our agri-co-op sector can avail of those programs. So, the SUCs, the private schools, universities, colleges, can be maximized and optimized by the Cooperative Development Authority by identifying resource persons who can teach the new technology, the new approaches in farming or agriculture. And I believe that our academe can also strengthen the interest of our farmers. We all know for the fact that our farmers nowadays are diminishing. Wala na pong gusto mag-farming. And our farmers are old. We cannot come up with new ones or younger ones. But with the help of the academe, our teachers, our professors, our agricultural instructors or resource persons can share the importance and the viability of our sector, it can create a paradigm shift or the interest of our young generation to continuously be involved in farming or agriculture. So the academe, in our capacity as cooperatives, can be tapped as one of the resource sector to provide and promote the importance of agriculture. But, of course, emphasizing on research, studies, and training. We cannot just afford to see farmers who are just plowing the field without embracing, without acquiring the new set of farming methodologies nowadays. So we need to come up also with the support coming from the academy. And lastly, the Cooperative Development Authority can also establish a stronger relationship between the academe. Of course, we go back to the basic application by strengthening agreements and collaboration with the academe, strengthening the research and studies with the partnership with the CDA, downloading also important measures and knowledge, making them more competent. Because we can inform our agri-cooperatives that they will be somehow compelled to participate in this advancement of research, studies, and training provided by our academe. No? So the agri sector can be tapped. We can encourage them to be more participative in acquiring research, studies, and training. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the entire framework, the general perspective of the CDA, no? Of how we can strengthen our agri-ecosystem. But to further elaborate on this, okay, to optimize or if not maximize the potentials of agriculture cooperatives through PPAs, we need to come up with inventory and mapping of cooperatives. Like for example, there is a conflict when it comes to data. When CDA sit down with PhilMec, ilan ba talaga ang farmers natin? Iba ang data ng PhilMec, iba ang data ng CDA. Pagdating din sa fisheries or fisher folks cooperatives, ganun din. We have never been consistent. We have to accept that. And I think it's high time to begin with the very basic and primordial requirement of our agencies is to identify how many cooperatives under our agencies that is being covered by our program. So if there are 1,000 fisher folks cooperatives, there should also be 1,000 fisher folks cooperatives with CDA or with PFDA or even BFAR. That is one way of starting a good structure or approach for our agri-cooperatives. So with DA, Every time there is a presentation in Congress, if DA is being asked, iba ang numero ng CDA, iba ang numero ng DA. So how can we resolve this one? I think this is the primordial action that we need to do. That's why, as we strengthen our collaboration, this is the very first step that we need to consider. Now, once we identify the exact number of our cooperatives under our respective agencies, it is also time to look into the framework or context of merging and consolidation of micro and small cooperatives. Because if we have the good number, if we have the exact number, we can easily identify how many micro and small cooperatives. We can easily identify micro and small cooperatives that are compliant under CDA, that are compliant under NIA. If you're going to build up or establish cooperatives with NIA or irrigators cooperatives, it should have the same number with CDA at that. No? Marami ding mga cooperatives that are into inventions or technologies. Then that's an area that we need to resolve. Then, as we're able to identify small and micro cooperatives, it could be also another approach, another parameter that we can introduce to them by federating them. If we're going to federate them, that would technically allow them to grow bigger in terms of resources. All facets of their cooperative. Human resource, financial resource, fixed assets, and etc., etc. And it would also allow to make their network bigger and expand in that sense. Enhance convergence and collaboration with the stakeholders. Now, if the CDA can implement this merger or consolidation or federation approach, then we can easily justify to the different agencies, like for example, Philippine Coconut Authority. If we only allow downloading of financial assistance to one cooperative, definitely the resources are not shared. But if we are going to give it to a federation, of which a federation is composed of a number of primary cooperatives, then governance, fiscal management, financial management, leadership are being shared. So meaning to say, the resources is not only given to one, but it will be enjoyed by everyone or other members of the federation. So this is very important. These are the areas that we need to consider in coming up with a very good agri-ecosystem. Now, as mentioned, we have to start with mapping or identifying inventory of cooperatives. Okay? And this one, it can enhance also the supply and value chain management. Okay? Because the experience of other primary cooperatives can be shared and can be seen by any other members. And we can also establish a very systematic networking and integration of Philippine cooperatives. Now, just to give you an overview, my dear colleagues in government, if we're going to come up with the merger and consolidation of micro and small cooperatives, there are issues that can be addressed. One, yung mga na-cancel, dissolved, and delisted cooperatives are from the agricultural cluster, can benefit out of this, but they need to come up with reforms. They need to be aided by CDA. We can supplement that because that is one of the mandates of the CDA is to take care of our cooperatives in our country today. But take a look at the percentage of agri-co-ops by asset and size. There is only around 3% considered to be large, 9% medium, 72%, and another 72% belongs to small and micro cooperatives. Is this 17? Sobra na to 100. Kayo talaga. So we have to correct this. But I think the micro gets the biggest share of the pie on this. For non-compliant cooperatives in the agri cluster, so we have 47% compliant, 45 non-compliant, and around 8% new. Okay? So, just for the information of everyone, based on CDA data, there are around 7,000, more or less, now, 2022 to now data, 7,000 agri cooperatives in our country today. So, biyak-biyakin natin yan. Okay? Portion of that goes to NIA, portion of that goes to FILMEC, portion of that goes to DA. Anyway, DA naman talaga lahat yan. No? PCA, etc., etc., etc. Now, if we're going able to federate them, okay, it enables farmers and fisher folks to have an efficient production because, again, as being emphasized, resources are getting bigger. Reduction in promotion costs, spread the risk, cheaper capital, reduction in logistic costs, and they can buy in bulk. Meaning to say, nag-aambagan talaga sila, nagtutulungan. No? Yan ang magaganda ng isang federation. Once we're able to enhance the convergence and collaboration with stakeholders, kagaya sa inyo, okay, like for example, FILMEC. FILMEC has been a very strong partner with CDA. It harmonizes not only the programs and the activities or projects with CDA or with their stakeholders, no? But it also provides financial, technical, and other sorts of assistance to the farmers and fisher folks. So, joint resources na ang ating mga agencies, then it would benefit more our agri cooperatives. But again, to emphasize, we really need to revisit the guidelines and ensure that it is being polished and reviewed well in order to avoid overlapping and confusion among beneficiaries. Now, I have mentioned to you a while ago that there are 6 clusters under CDA. One is finance. How can the finance cluster of the co-op sector can contribute, reinforce, and supplement our agri cooperatives? Okay? Let me give you a brief definition of the credit cooperatives under the finance cooperatives, no? Or finance cluster. Credit cooperative is one that promotes and undertakes savings and lending services among its members. It generates a common pool of funds in order to provide financial assistance to its members for productive and provident purposes. So, pinakita ko sa inyo kanina yung isang pie about financial institutions. So, credit cooperatives can be part of these financial institutions. They can provide lending services to our agri-co-ops if they can or they will adhere to this merger or consolidation or even be part of this co-op kapatid program. Now, if a credit cooperative or finance cooperative can be consolidators, no, we can come up with memorandum circular or a guideline that our credit cooperatives or finance cooperatives can be consolidators if they are going to enter a partnership with agri cooperatives. Why? Why can credit cooperative or finance cooperative can be one of the consolidators of our economies of scale? Because the credit or finance cooperatives can introduce a low interest loans for agri co-op. Okay? So hindi lang Land Bank o DBP ang kaya magbigay ng low interest. They can also introduce this credit line for agri-co-ops. If hirap ang mga agri-co-ops mangutang sa mga bangko, the credit cooperatives can provide them credit line for purchase of their resources or inputs. The credit cooperatives, some of the credit cooperatives are also multi-purpose cooperatives. Okay? So, there are 6,186 multi-purpose cooperatives with credit. So, yung pag sinabi mo multi-purpose cooperatives, marami na silang line of business. Okay? At the same time, there are 2,783 credit cooperatives. So, where does the interplay comes in? They can be a good source as marketing arm kasi multi-purpose na sila. Okay? And can help promote and strengthen the value chain supply. Dahil marami na silang business engagement, they can expand the network of our agri-co-ops by connecting with other co-ops and other industrial entities or partners. So, pwede na rin sila maging industrial players in that sense. Not just only providing loans or credit lines to the agri-cooperatives. But of course, with the assessment of the different agencies like you can strengthen the credibility and the integrity of the agri-cooperatives. Kasi sinabi nga, halimbawa, ABC Farmers Cooperative, gusto nila mag-loan, gusto nila bumili ng traktor. Kailangan ng parang certification from PhilMec. If the PhilMec can provide the technical provisions to the financial institution certifying that this agri-cooperative is in good standing or compliant to our agency and to CDA, maganda din ang audited financial statement nila, pinapakita ng CDA, capable sila magbayad, and so on and so forth, then a credit cooperative can download financial assistance or loans to them. So, hindi na sila dependent sa mga government banks. But they can have an easy access with other financial institutions. So, it's a matter of setting the parameters properly. Credit Surety Fund is a special program under CDA in partnership with Bangko Sentral Pilipinas. And we are about to craft a framework on how agriculture cooperatives or fisher folks cooperatives to qualify under the said program. Okay? That is now the task of our Deputy Administrator for CSF to come up with the framework now. Because iilan lang ang agri-co-ops, very, very low in terms of numbers that are somehow maybe interested or participated in this program. But we need to expand. Because other cooperatives, okay, big cooperatives with partnership with LGUs can ensure or guarantee the agri-co-ops of availing of this surety fund program for them. Okay, so the CSF, not just a service of CDA, but we need to establish a guidelines or frameworks in order to cascade or trickle down the programs that would benefit our agri or fisher folks cooperatives. The human services cluster. This is one of the clusters that involve, of course, very obvious, human services, people. There is a challenge now, as mentioned to you. Iilan na lang po ang ating mga farmers ngayon. Wala na pong gustong mag-farming. Ang mga kabataan ngayon, mas involved sila sa Genshin or ML or whatever PS4 or PS5 na laro. For the human services cooperatives, how can we strengthen our agri? How can we supplement? First, we focus on health. Health cooperatives can provide significant support to agri cooperatives by focusing on various areas to enhance the well-being of the agri workers and the overall productivity of their agricultural sector. on the following. One, to provide affordable group health insurance plans to our agri-cooperatives. Mayroon tayong mga health cooperatives na involve or ang business nila ay insurance or health insurance. Hindi lang tayo magiging dependent sa PhilHealth, but they can avail of better, well-expanded health programs coming from the health services cooperatives. In fact, yung iba, may mga hospital pa nga, na kapag membro ka ng isang agri-coop, they can avail of good discounts, if that would be the case. Number two, they can even reach out to the grassroots or to the regional base, providing access of their health services through on-site mobile clinics. Mayroong mga health cooperatives ang gumagawa niyan. Mas marami pa nga activities nga sila kaysa mga private hospitals. Because they want to see that other cooperatives are engaging with their health services. Conduct outreach programs and medical mission consistent to its advocacy, and provide additional opportunities for agriculture cooperatives by purchasing their produce in bulk to be used in hospitals. Di ba? Alam nyo ba ngayon na ang meat ng coconut ay ginagawa na rin parang pang bandage? Ginagawa na nila yan. In Thailand, they're doing it. Yung meat ng nyo, ginagawa na pang bandage sa mga sunog. So I think that's the technology right now. No? And I think we can discover more partnership and we can explore more of the resources that can be used by the hospitals or health service coming from the agri-sector. Public utilities, ito po yung mga transportation natin. Alam niyo po, we're not just supporting the modernization program, but the public utilities can be essential or crucial to the delivery of services or produce of our agri-cooperatives. In what way? One, assist in the efficient and economical way of distributing agricultural products to markets. We have logistic cooperatives or logistical cooperatives. But with the expansion of the modernization right now, the CDA can come up with a guideline allowing our transport cooperatives to partner with agri and allow them to engage in the delivery of their produce or their products from the origin, from place of origin, or for the market, from the farm place to marketplace. Allowing transport co-ops to do that. We're not only dependent on the logistics, because the logistics right now are charging too high. And maybe with the partnership or the co-op captive program or merger consolidation, the agri-cooperatives can be directly partnering with transport cooperatives. Kung mayroong mga excess or extra sasakyan ng ating mga transportation cooperatives, that can be maximized and utilized by transporting the goods from market, from farm to market approach, no? On a farm to market approach. It can also provide or support logistical services at a lesser cost to agricultural cooperatives. So ang ating transport ngayon, hindi na lang nagtatransport ng tao per tao. But they can now be directly involved in transporting also the goods or the harvest of our agri-co-ops. So mas marami ng options ngayon ng agri. Okay? Mas marami ng options ngayon. And it would give challenge to other logistical companies to lower down their cost. No? And again, it will also avoid the bad practices among traders. Digital cooperatives. This is a very, very sensitive and crucial in the involvement of our agri. Cooperatives engaged in digital services can offer valuable support to agricultural cooperatives by enhancing their connectivity Alam niyo po, last year, the Cooperative Development Authority started its connectivity program to the small and micro cooperatives, particularly the agri. Why? Because we believe that internet is the very basic infrastructure today that every entity or individual must have. Without connectivity, we cannot see the world. Without connectivity, we cannot see other services and we cannot avail other services. That is why, based on record, I think we were able to download around 80 infrastructures, basic infrastructures for connectivity. And it's all for free. And right now, the micro and small cooperatives are enjoying the fruits of that program. Aside from allowing them to engage into online network activities or services, it also became part of their business as well. Providing internet services to the local communities, students, parents, relatives, and other consumers at that. No? So, we are hitting it, we're hitting two birds with one stone. So, the basic infrastructure has already been implemented by CDA. And right now, as a response to the President's directive, we are now focusing and we're targeting around 150 agri cooperatives, fisher folks, for this year to be given that basic infrastructure, that connectivity to them. And we can ensure that the proper training and proper usage of that connectivity will be available for them, providing them training, competency, and at the same time, the proper use of that internet connectivity program. So, digital co-ops are somehow existing and operating, and we can build a community of partnership with agri cooperatives as well. And this would make them more viable, allowing them also to access important information and expanding their market reach. The second example that I'd like to give you is that in CDA right now, we were able to launch Co-op Biz, CDA Global. We created a platform, a business platform to all interested merchants or cooperatives and allowing them to post their products. Para kaming Lazada, no? Parang Shopee, na online na lang ang pagbili ng kanilang products. Then, it will be delivered to the doors of the consumers or individuals as being ordered through online. So we were able to launch that and we're still continue to improve that services. No? It is not our expertise to come up with that platform, but we started good and we want to end up better or at its best foot forward. The second one is that digital cooperatives can develop mobile applications to the cooperatives, not to the agri cooperatives. And to offer tools like crop calendars, pest identification, and agricultural advice tailored to the local region. So, information platform is very, very crucial. That's why the digital cooperatives will now play a very, very crucial role in the development of our agri. So, if you have some programs under your agency, like the OST, PhilMec, PCA, lahat kayo nandito ngayon. We can tap digital cooperatives to expand and advertise or expose your programs to the public. No? And that would also allow other cooperatives and business entities to look into the services and the programs that you have downloaded to the cooperative sector. Digital cooperatives can also assist in analyzing data. We have that. So if you want your cooperatives under your agency yung mga irrigators, cooperatives, we can help you by tapping digital co-ops. And through digital platforms, digital cooperatives will help agricultural cooperatives connect directly with buyers. Yung pong sinasabi namin na platform na yan. To improve their business connectivity. And number 5, can organize virtual training sessions. Yun po. No? Yung iba, mamamasahe pa ng 75 pesos, 100 pesos, 300 pesos, sasakay ng habal-habal ng bus just to attend seminars. But with the digital technology today, it is a platform that can be utilized by our agri-cooperatives and participate in any virtual training sessions, learning, and activities. For our education and advocacy cluster, okay, our agri-co-ops will avail of these benefits by coming up an awareness and helping farmers to raise their farm operations efficiently and coming and availing of these inputs by, of course, partnering with academies and, of course, with the right agencies to perform this awareness program and education program. So, the CDA are not experts on irrigation. Then we tap the right resource person to do that. How can these agri-co-ops avail of the new technologies? Then the OST might be a source of information. How can our agri-co-ops avail of this international trade or exportation and importation? Then we will ask ATC to do that, and so on and so forth. And even the DTI can ensure us the right packaging. Then they will be the resource person. Then our education advocacy cluster can supplement that by identifying also cooperatives that have those kind of activities that can be offered to the agri-cooperative. So, we're not just dependent on the agencies, but we can also identify cooperatives that can provide those awareness program and making their farm operations efficient. With the introduction of education, we can also improve the production cost and post-harvest losses. Kasi mas malawak na ang pagkaintindi at pagkakaunawa ng ating mga farmers. And of course, through mechanization, yung mga training na binibigay sa kanila, like ng PhilMec, it can also help farmers grow crops in less time. So the technology is very important to them. The intent also of the education and advocacy cluster is to expand its horizons. Now, we can identify resource persons from the academe that will provide agricultural farming modules, research studies on technology. So it's not only the NGAs but also the academe, the SUCs, and other platforms of information and technology for farmers. So the education and advocacy clusters cooperative can also play a very important role by doing more research, informing the cooperatives that there are available resources for them to learn new approaches and new technologies. So, the education and advocacy becomes a conduit to all, identifying the proper information that can be downloaded to our agri-cooperatives. For consumers and marketing producers, logistics, cooperative cluster, this is a very wide and very vast membership of cooperatives, no? Because it caters not only consumers but also marketing producers and logistics. So how can we interplay these clusters in support to the agri? We can collaborate the efforts in establishing technological innovations for product development. It's not only DTI, but there are cooperatives under CMPL that can provide technological innovations. like marketing. How can they improve their strategies and sell their products to the regional and international market? Labeling, packaging, those are the aspects that we need to improve. Implementation of seal of cooperative products in collaboration with NGAs and cooperatives. We are promoting cooperative products in our region, in our country. But sometimes, we are required by DTI to improve its presentation materials or the product itself. Hindi lang basta-basta natin ilagay sa isang bote ang isang produkto, then ibibenta na natin. It has its own standards. Okay? So the CMPL can also do that at the same time. Inclusion of agriculture cluster in the conduct of international, local, and market bazaar trade fairs. Alam niyo po, ito pong isa sa mga kulang sa atin. DTI is very strong and very eager, very persistent in coming up with trade fairs. But, to be honest, very low percentage po ang participation ng cooperatives. We need to come up with a stronger conduct of trade fairs or bazaar or market to our cooperatives, especially the agri. Mas nakikita natin, ini-invite natin more on damit, more on hard commodities. But we're not able to promote the products of our agri cooperatives. And I think it's high time that through the CMPL cluster can agree and collaborate strongly with DTI. No? Present more farm products or produce coming from our agri and fisher folks cooperatives. No? Mas gusto natin bags, damit, sapatos, mga ganun. But how about our food industry? Our agri products that can be showcased in trade fairs and bazaars or market activities. Collaboration with the education and advocacy cluster in the conduct of market and product-related researches. So there is an interplay, no? There will always be a synergy of clusters and the national government agencies. In the CMPL, its objective is to eliminate too many marketing layers, no? As much as possible. I think we're now looking at the traders' activities and participation here. Inclusion of agri-co-ops in the beneficiaries and establishment of regional cooperatives business center. Marami na po tayong mga business center sa mga regions, but mas nakikita nila mas maraming participation ang mga associations and organizations. So I think it's high time to tap the cooperatives. And CMPL can do that. Okay? It can reinforce as well the partnership between CDA and the agencies. If DTI, let's say DTI and DA, would come up more regional business center, and I think it's also good to include the full participation of our agri-cooperatives through the partnership with marketing cooperatives or logistic cooperatives or consumers cooperatives. Establish and develop linkages and networking mechanisms. Yun po ang ginagawa ng mga marketing co-ops. Improve logistics system. Marami din tayo niyan. But of course, the challenge right now is that because there are only few logistic cooperatives in the country today, we need to secure that their fees, their charges are reasonable enough that our agri-cooperatives can also enjoy and avail of. Engagement and business-to-business advocacy programs or barter trade activities with other entities. Now, the DTI is very good at this, no? Itong barter trade activities with other entities. And I think it's also good to introduce cooperatives that we have quality products coming from the agri-sector. And we need to promote that. May bumisita din sa aming opisina that there are inventors, cooperatives, and they want to introduce their inventions. And maybe DOST and CDA could come up with an activity that will promote the inventions of our inventors cooperatives. Introduce them to the market, to the people, to the public, na pwede palang umilaw ang isang bumbilya sa pamamagitan ng tubig at asin. If you're aware of that. So if there are some inventions like solar powers or panels, maybe DOST and CDA could come up with a trade fair or through the help of through the initiative of CMPL clusters. So I think it's high time to promote our products as well. The agri products can also be a source of inventions, no? So marami tayong pwedeng ma-explore dyan. Well, that's it. So ito ang bagong Pilipinas. Hindi ko na alam paano i-segue ito. Ito ang bagong Pilipinas, ito ang bagong agri-sector ng ating bansa. Ito ang bagong partner ng ating bayan. Daghang salamat. Okay, ikaw ba? Ikaw.
Chairman, may kanta doon na bago na.
Yun na eh.
Mr. Chairman, at this point, the ED of the Institutional Development Services will be presenting to us the identified programs, projects, and activities to support the cooperative agri-framework before this committee. Also, the ED Elevaso is requested to stay at the committee meeting for the facilitation of the government agency's comments, recommendations on the proposed framework.
Sa ating pong chairman ng Cooperative Development Authority at ng mga opisyales ng CDA as recognized a while ago, and also our officers and staff, and to our very important colleagues from the government agencies, our government agencies who were also recognized a while ago. Would like to present to you, good morning. I would like to present to you the result of the workshop of our officials, officers, the deputy administrators and directors, and our staff during the last August 23 to 24 in connection to the presentation of our chairman regarding the ecosystem of agricultural cooperatives. The workshop is entitled the workshop to propose the framework for the fostering an agriculture cooperative system. So from the ecosystem which the chairman has presented, we prepared a proposed framework. No? And so the story goes. Oy, nawala siya. So, the workshop, the output of the workshop is a strategic outcome. Which is by 2025, realize a 25% enhancement in cooperation, resource accessibility, and innovative practices among agriculture cooperatives, leading to a 20% increase in productivity, 10% increase in long-term sustainability, and a notable contribution to food security. For its goal, to foster a resilient and sustainable ecosystem for agricultural cooperatives, significantly enhancing their growth and empowering them to play a vital role in ensuring food security. So the end goal is food security, and it will emanate from an ecosystem, from a good ecosystem, which will foster also a framework that can pursue value and supply chain which is gearing towards food security. So siguro we are all familiar with these terms. But during our workshop, this was substantiated through PPAs, no? Projects, programs, and activities. In general also. The agriculture cooperative framework begins with stakeholder engagement and collaboration, and then towards capacity building and training, towards value chain integration, which is focused on the access to market and access to finance, and then infrastructure development, which also highlights access to technology, plus the needed policy and regulatory support, and monitoring and evaluation, and impact assessment of the whole chain that is presented here on agriculture cooperative framework. And after which is the sustainability and scaling up. Thus, I would like to explain a bit. No? Wala na po tayong ilinagay ng mga figures dyan and words dyan, just to lighten up a bit. Medyo marami na tayo pong words na napag-usapan na present, and para hindi po maulit-ulit. But I would like to zero in on number one, the stakeholder engagement and collaboration. That's why we are beginning with the NCCCD Agriculture and Industry Committee, which is us. Ayun po. Hindi pa siya, nanggaling po tayo sa workshop, and then the NCCCD Agri Cluster and Agri and the Industry Cluster or Committee, and then towards a larger portion of our movement, which is the whole NCCCD and the whole National Alliance of Cooperatives later on. Ganun po yung for our stakeholder engagement and collaboration. We need to collaborate, but we have identified several things here. Number one is the clustering of cooperatives or agriculture cooperative cluster, which is very important in our collaboration and stakeholder engagement. Number two is the cooperative consolidated farms in view or in compliance with the President's directive for clustering and consolidation. This is a voluntary cooperative consolidated farms which we are envisioning as among our PPAs. So who are the players? Of course us, but we have identified the following: the CDA, the DA, the DAR, the DOST, the GFIs, cooperatives, transport cooperatives, federations, LGUs, DICT, PCA, PhilRice, PhilMec, NMIS, Academ and SUCs, TESDA, CHED, ATI, Bureau of Plant Industries, DTI, BIFAD, also BIFAR, no? And IPO, the FDA, the PSA, the NIA, the BIFAR, and other agencies of the government related to cooperatives and cooperativism. The second box would be on capacity building. We have identified certain PPAs on capacity building. Number one is specialized training for participants in the cooperative consolidated farms. Number two is the organization and the organizational development of cooperatives and their federations, and value-adding development training. Also is the specialized trainings for agriculture cooperatives. And the very important thing in this agricultural cooperative framework is the value chain integration. Stakeholder engagement and collaboration are enabling acts, also with capacity building and training, are also enabling acts to the value chain integration process. So we have identified certain PPAs on the value chain. which is the clustering of agriculture cooperatives according to commodity. Commodity-based integration, or value chain integration is very vital in our ecosystem and on how to evolve a good value chain. Hindi pwedeng salasalabat yung entrada ng proseso ng value chain. So that's why we have to cluster cooperatives in terms of commodities and market development, technology upskilling, as well as upscaling, and advocacy and promotion for local and foreign investment. So, hindi tayo nag-iisa. Kumbaga, hindi tumatayong mag-isa ang ating cooperative sector. Kailangan din ng kasama from other sectors. So, and then promotion and assistance for commodity products standards, certification, and quality assurance. So, doon na pumapasok yung FDA and other standards bodies. Like the organic agriculture, meron tayong standards, and others. So, plus, of course, very important is the access to market in the value chain integration. Kanina sinasabi ni Sir yung iba't ibang clusters. Even those clusters na sinasabi nating halimbawa sa health, sa mga hospital, can be consumers also. No? Sa dulo, may market. Lahat ng clusters ng cooperatives may market. May consumer doon sa mga clusters. So name it, the market is identified, and we have just to strategize through our value chain approach. So another is the ito po, on the access to market, it was identified by the workshop, through the workshop, that we should establish cooperative trading center. Not just trading centers, but trading centers operated by cooperatives and their federations. And then we have Co-op Biz. If you have already heard or seen Co-op Biz in the internet. The Co-op Biz is an online marketing platform initiated by the Cooperative Development Authority. Initially, it was for non-farm products, but it is evolving now as a food security tool, online market, due to our strategizing. So, we would like to enhance the Co-op Biz as an e-marketing platform for our agricultural products, specifically products made by or produced by cooperatives. And then the promotion of cooperative products, of course, basically on agriculture. So, we cannot do marketing without finance, of course. So, access to finance is very, very important. And for the access to finance, we have proposed in the workshop the provision of financial assistance to farmers, cooperatives, and members. We are doing this, but we are proposing expansion and more systematic access to finance. And we would like to revive the savings mobilization and capital build-up program among our agriculture cooperatives. Ginagawa po natin noon ito, but we would like to examine it once more and have it more systematic and expansive. Yun po yung gusto nating mangyari dito sa access to finance, in participation of our own stakeholder, major stakeholder, which is the cooperative movement. Another is the Credit Surety Fund program. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we are processing something about Credit Surety Fund with regards to, in relation to our Gawad Parangal. Nagkakaroon kami ng screening. We saw a practice of cooperative surety fund in certain area that is very effective to farmers' cooperatives. And also, we found out that those credit surety fund are very relevant in terms of cooperative, agricultural cooperative credit. Pag-aaralan po natin yun, we would be excited to present it later on to you. So, yun po. Medyo na-excite lang ako, kaya ako nag-segue ng konti. But that is how important the CSF is. And then another is the infrastructure development. Sinabsum na nito yung access to technology, no? On the value chain. So the access to technology has a lot of PPAs which were identified. Mechanization program for farmers, which is being done by the PhilMec, but it can be more expanded. And then adoption of comprehensive irrigation system by our NIA. And then adoption of diversified farming system through farmers cooperative, diversified farmer system. No? Of course, this is the territory of the DA, but it can be also a territory of the agricultural cooperatives and their supporting groups or mechanisms. And establishment of farm technology and farm site, adoption of sustainable organic farming, and provision of ICT equipment to cooperatives. So yun po, the CDA is initially doing it, but we need further support to expand the ICT program for agriculture cooperatives. Another is a very important one, the policy and regulatory support. We can plan all these things, but however, if the government, through its whole of government approach, do not support it by policy and regulatory support, then medyo problematic po tayo. No? So, we have identified several PPAs, policy awareness and compliance, policy advocacy partnerships, and adopted policy and regulatory measures for agricultural cooperatives. Probably that is also consistent with what the President has pronounced during his SONA. That's why there are moves now to amend our Republic Act 9520 and to calibrate our circulars on agriculture cooperatives. So magsasama-sama po tayo dapat dito kasi kailangan maganda yung policy at reflective sa policies ng lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno. Afterwards, we have to zero into monitoring and evaluation and impact assessment to review how we are doing. What's the result of what we are doing in these boxes? So, we also provided several PPAs, development of comprehensive monitoring and assessment tools, research and development, data analysis, and external evaluation. Not only evaluation among us, but from the external stakeholders and the audience of our efforts, and year-end assessment programs. For this, after monitoring, evaluation, and impact assessment, sustainability and scaling up should be done based on our accomplishments in these boxes. So, what are our PPAs? Advocacy and innovation, and best practices replication. By that time, we have identified already best practices. So, replication, gagawin po natin. All all focusing on agricultural cooperatives. So, ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, that is our proposed agriculture cooperative framework based on the cooperative ecosystem, agriculture cooperative ecosystem, which was presented by our chairman. Maraming salamat po. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Now, thank you, Lester. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are prepared to hear the comments of our dear sisters and brothers from our member government agencies. Sir?
Yeah, before we entertain some questions or comments or maybe infusions of ideas and recommendations, just an appeal from the presiding officer that maybe coming from your effort, I know you're very capable of doing this. You could cascade this one to your agency head, the importance of this, and hopefully, but we're not saying that this framework is the right one, but that's the reason why we call on to you on how we can improve this framework vis-a-vis the relationship and the existence of your mandate and policies that also offers services to our agri sector or the cooperatives. So we need your help. Before I'll give the floor to some questions, let me cite an experience just happened last night when I had a direct conversation with the PFDA Director, Attorney Glenn Pagapalan. Sabi ko, I need your help on this because if possible, we can revive our very noble program. This is now on the go, and maybe we could improve some areas and assess it because a lot of cooperatives are enjoying it. There are some cooperatives have failed, just to be realistic on it. But on that experience, on that note, we can identify some areas how we can improve and implement better parameters and meet the objectives of both agencies. And he's very open to it, and we'll be sitting down with each other. And of course, maybe we could do the same, just like PhilMec or DOST, no? Because one day, the inventors cooperatives visited me, and they want also to showcase their products, their inventions. So I think we could showcase more of this, but without prejudice to all the existing guidelines, no? For all agencies concerned. So again, it's an appeal that if we could elevate this one to our head of office or agency, then of course the CDA is very much willing to strengthen the partnership with you. So this is just the first part of our effort. We are presenting this in the agricultural and industrialization cluster. We also have to present this one sa finance and other clusters of the NCCCD. So thank you very much, and that's all for my comment.
Thank you, sir. So, again, we would like to solicit your comments. Not only comments, but enhancements for the improvement, ma'am. We would be recording all this.
Hello, good morning everyone. I'm Dr. Molly Chong of the Philippine International Trading Corporation. So, ang suggestion ko lang po is that maybe all of us government agencies should also be aware of the different mandates and functions of the agencies involved in the NCC-CD para alam natin kung ano po yung ibabato natin ng mga trabaho for these agencies. Like in my case, I'm sure not all of you are familiar with PITC, as we are the only state trading company of the Philippines. Pero ang problema, hindi kasi ganon yung nagiging face ng, the face as in mukha ng PITC to most. We are also a procurement arm. We are para counterpart of PSTBM. But the Philippine International Trading Corporation, I have been reaching out to the CDA for months already. And I want PITC to be felt sa ibaba. Kasi that's the very important thing eh. Ang nakikita kasi natin is the world we are moving around with. Pero yung nasa ilalim, hindi natin nakikita. And I want PITC to be very proactive on that. And to everybody's information, ang PITC po is we can be the part, we can be that agency from the initial part of the supply chain up to the end. So we can do government to other countries. That's why kami din po ang naatasan ni Presidente with regards to fertilizers. However, alam naman niyo sa gobyerno, masalimuot when it comes to MOA and all. Even the machines, we can do it like G2G. And with the G2G, meron pa po tayong counter-trade program ng PITC na we get 5% of the 50% with a minimum of 50 million na additional to the agency. So, if we will do that, we will be able to maximize our money. Konti lang nga ang pera natin. So, imagine they only realized that with the defense after the end of Duterte's time, na they were able to spend 200 billion to realize only, ay, kung nagamit ang counter-trade program ng PITC, we could have utilized 5% of the 100 billion additional for the DND. So those things, hindi po natin kasi nalalaman unless somebody has to speak up for that. And I don't know, I'm only 1 year and 8 months in PITC, but I want everybody to be informed well of what PITC is all about. Kasi nakikita ko po with our relationship with other countries, basta meron tayong existing agreement or executive agreement or treaty with other countries, we could enter into a G2G program. Hindi na po tayo mag-RA 9184, and we will be able to get it at a good price, especially when we consolidate the needs of the different cooperatives or the different agencies. So, ako naman po, I'm very proactive. Alam ni Yusek yan. We are from the same DTI family, and I'm sure nasa sir hindi niya ako kalala eh. So, those things na ang tawag dito, that we have to really know what, yun na sa akin, yun ang initial part. To start well, ay, meron palang ganun function ng PITC, ay, may ganun palang function ng DOST. So, we have to really know the agencies involved in this, dito, cooperative, development cooperative.
Doc, just a question with your statement. Now that you mentioned that PITC can be the source of the value chain from the starting point up to the end point, how can the cooperatives avail of those, let's say, new technologies? Should PITC enter agreement with CDA and identify the beneficiaries?
Yes.
Is that the case?
Yes. Di ba, sir, we
Yes.
have an ongoing MOA which is being reviewed by your legal. Is with you, it's not
Yes,
with me.
yes.
So, pag naayos po natin yan, then we can start the ball rolling. Para, okay, PITC, sino-sino yung mga cooperatives natin na pwede natin itap whatever they need. So, whatever they need, i-consolidate natin. Kasi po, syempre,
Then the sourcing will be coming from outside because
it
of
can be
the
outside or local.
Okay.
Sa local kasi, marami din pong, now we are promoting one town, one product, and mas gusto natin syempre buy local. But if hindi kaya, we can source it outside, and our relationship with the different countries, gagamitin natin to be able to come up with the best price.
Sige. We will expedite the review of the MOA, then soon we can forge it. Then we could come up with a information drive with all the agri-cooperatives, then as to what are the available resources that they need. And we will have the PITC be involved in the procurement so that they can avail of those quality and affordable resources that they want. Ano may after sales, no? Hindi yung ibibigay lang, then bahala na kayo sa buhay nyo. Sige, ma'am. That's good. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. So we have a very valuable input from PITC Mamori. End-to-end value chain, end-to-end supply chain, end-to-end, and government to government. So yun na yun, dulo sa dulo na yun, and we just have to mobilize cooperatives in every boxes of the value chain for the support of PITC. So any other enhancement of our ecosystem and
Second question lang kay Ma'am Molly before we proceed. Ma'am, if we're able to identify the products that are somehow qualified for exportation, can PITC also introduce that to your counterparts outside?
Definitely po. Kasi like, I am keeping my relationship to all other countries. So, may, kunyari, Vietnam went to me. Sabi niya, Doc, we have so much need from the Philippines. How come you're not considering us? How come it's only China? So, those things. We have MOA with other countries, with other state-owned. It should be state-owned kasi to qualify for a G2G. So, ako po, Vietnam, Indonesia, we are keeping in touch with them and reviving all MOAs that we have in the past so that we can be able to facilitate whatever we have. Like Myanmar, hindi lang talaga open pa ang Philippines for Myanmar, but with the rice shortage, they assured us that if the Philippines need it, kahit sarado sila for exportation, since we have an ongoing MOA, we will give you. So that's the relationship that we are nurturing para po hindi tayo maiwan sa ere.
So in other words, your PITC can show us the opportunities that are awaiting coming from our co-ops here.
Yes.
Sige, we can do that, ma'am, and I hope legal can expedite the review of our MOA and set the forging the soonest time possible. Thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Molly. That's a very good
So the cooperatives now have their partner state trade agency, state trade and procurement agency with the PITC. So we would like to welcome other comments, enhancements, improvements, and even some amendments kung kinakailangan.
Yeah, I'm interested with DOST because, sir, honestly, one inventors cooperative visited my office and they want to explore how CDA can, help them expand their potential. So I think it's high time that DOST can. I've been waiting for this, and I think that you're the right person to give us some insights, sir. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, sir. Maraming salamat po. In fact, I was recently designated as in charge of the inventors. So wala pong problema yun because we've been helping these inventors since 3 years ago. And we have had a lot of programs to assist them, especially in product development and marketing. So covered po siya. Now with respect po sa presentations today, I'm very happy and I would like to congratulate you for crafting a very good analysis po ng ating cooperative, if I may call it a cooperative ecosystem, sige. But I would like to point out that I really am very happy to see yung part of your plans is the merging and consolidation of micro and small co-ops po because indeed yung sabi nga ninyo kanina na yung most of the failed co-ops are yung belongs to the agri sector and in fact I have had a lot of experiences related to co-ops as when I was still the provincial director in Nueva Ecija. Yung mga experiences ko sa cooperatives ay talagang dapat busisiin natin kasi alam nating napakarami po talagang failure and there are a lot of factors that contribute to that. And it would be very nice sana kung magkakaroon tayo ng analysis, no? Mahimay natin, ano ba yung problema? Ano ba yung formula ng successful co-op? At saka ano yung common pitfalls ng mga delisted ones? And we should be able to craft already yung parang menu para po maging successful yung ating mga cooperatives. I also like yung sinabi ninyo na IT-backed info supply chain because that's something that we've been doing but this is not only for co-ops. In fact, for Region 3, I had already started crafting yung isang cloud-based info system wherein we will be able to put in all the information about poultry for the poultry supply chain such that this would all be integrated and communicating with each other. And then nakita ko po sa presentation nyo, that's the very essence po nung gusto ninyong mangyari and that's something that we are doing and we should partner related to that. Eliminating traders and reducing market players, napakaganda po niyan, but it's easier said than done. I'm also a farmer. I planted eggplant, sili, I got engaged into poultry production, onion production, and all these things po. Ang ganda-ganda. Technology is there. The production system is very easy. But the marketing is crazy. When the retail price of sale is 160, binibili po sa akin ng middleman ng 7 pesos per kilo. Yeah. So during even eggplant during that time I or almost 100 binibili lang sa akin ng 12 pesos per kilo. Ang ginawa ko dinala ko sa community pantry, pinamigay ko po yung harvest ko. And that's something that we should really look into. Regional Co-op Business Center, that's very good po. Mechanization, quite late, but it's very important that we should pursue that Although this time, we are already looking at Industry 4.0 technologies, Internet of Things, space technology back production. So medyo i-level up lang po sana natin. CDA Biz, that's a very good initiative po. In fact, almost all agencies ay pumapasok na po sa e-commerce, and it's really something that we should be looking forward to. Ang nakikita ko po siguro na dapat nating tingnan yung mga wala dun sa listahan, no? Katulad nung nabanggit ko kanina, yung intricacies of business, because essentially co-ops are businesses. And unless we can make them competitive, sans the government subsidies, hindi po sila magiging sustainable. So we have to really capacitate them, make them competitive, and of course, in making them competitive, we have to look at the inputs of production. This is something na wala po doon sa ating ipinakita, and I know why. Kasi ala po tayo, ewan ko bakit walang kontrol ang gobyerno natin sa inputs of production. The cost of fertilizer rose up to ilan? 3,000 plus. When in fact the price of the farm gate price of rice remains at 12 to 15 pesos per kilo. Nag-triple ang cost of production, ang farm gate price the same. So no matter how much intervention ang gawin po natin, DA, DOST, DAR, and all our line government agencies, for as long as the inputs of production are so high and the farm gate price is so low, hindi lang po cooperatives ang mamamatay, even small farmers, even other businesses, talaga pong mamamatay yan unless ito po ay titingnan natin. Yung need for guidance to prevent overproduction, this is something po na very real. Nangyayari po, hindi po kaila sa inyo. Time and again, makikita natin sa news, ang farmers ng Benguet, itinatapon yung cabbage sa bangin. Sa Karanglan, itinatapon yung kamatis doon sa gilid ng ilog. Yung mga kalabasa sa Saragossa, Nueva Ecija, itinatambak doon sa gilid ng kanilang field. And what are we doing? No? Dapat po ang tingnan natin, ano ba doon sa ecosystem ang dapat nating na-provide such that mayroon tayong mga disruptive interventions na po pwede nating i-provide to make not only the co-ops but the members of these co-ops have a fighting chance to survive. And sana wag lang to survive yung ating target. Make them productive, make them really competitive, and make the farmers rich. Well, bata pa ako, ang farmers po, ang ating image ay punit-punit ang damit, nakasakay sa kalabaw, nakatapak. I'm dreaming of the day, sana bago ako mamatay, na ang farmers sa Pilipinas ay naka-SUV na at saka naka-cowboy hat. Yung po ay pangarap na noon pa. I recently had a meeting with the DTIUSEC, no? And we had very good discussion, and we realized that one big problem that we have in the Philippines ay ang dami-dami nating tinutulungang mga businesses, co-ops, other organizations. DOS is even helping the inventors come up with good products, have this marketed, but palaging ang ating pag-asa na lang yung mga walk-in buyers. Institutional buyers are nowhere to be found. And worst, even yung ating mga government agencies hindi bumibili sa atin. Line government agencies spent so much para po makapag-establish tayo dito ng PPE production facilities. Kasi umabot po tayo during the COVID, ang sinusuot ng mga doktor ay plastic garbage bag. The government spent so much, nag-establish ng mga production facility ng PPE. Nung andyan na si PPE, ayaw bili ng DOH. Bakit? Your guess is as good as mine. No? Yung pong mga bumili ng mga napakaraming equipment from abroad, bumili ng mga material for PPE na international standard, on the brink of collapse na po sila. Hindi lang po sa PPE yon, even sa DOST po, ang dami po namin dinevelop na technologies. I'm sorry, my DA friends, hindi po ginagamit ng DA yung mga nadidevelop namin na technologies. We were able to raise the productivity of rice and mung bean and all other crops using Karajinan Plant Growth Promoter. Dinevelop po yan using nuclear technologies pero hindi po ginagamit. And that's just one example. Napakarami po, hindi lang po sa DOST. I think all of our agencies, even PhilMec, I believe, had been developing machines and equipment, local, but pag tinest po sa Amtech, ang ganda ng performance. But are we buying this? We're buying from abroad, all the equipment that we use. Siguro po yung procurement policies ng government ay isang bagay na dapat nating tingnan if we really are serious about seeing the farmers, the agri co-ops, the agri sector be or have decent income generating activities. Otherwise po, tuloy-tuloy lang na subsistence ang mangyayari sa atin dito. We will continue to see farmers, the children of farmers getting out of the farm at maghanap ng mga other jobs sa cities, no? I'm very happy na nabanggit ni Ma'am Molly yung ating opportunities, no? This is something that we should look into. We should I recently went to Israel to look at the innovation ecosystem there. And you know what? In Israel, what they do is they do futures thinking, they do scoping. Ano ba yung magiging niche in the future? I asked the Minister of Agriculture in Israel, sabi ko, why are you producing meat sa laboratory? Sa Israel po, nagpo-produce na sila ng steak sa laboratory sa Petri dish. Minamanufacture na sa Petri dish yung component ng meat, pinapasok na sa 3D printer, 3D print nila, lalabas sa steak. Piprito mo na lang. Sabi ko, why are you doing that? You're killing the agriculture sector. Ang sabi niya sa akin, no. We did scoping, sabi niya. And we know that 20 years from now, there would be no shortage of carbohydrates, there would be no shortage of fruits and vegetables, but there would be shortage of protein. And we know that the production of the entire world cannot cater to the need for protein of the entire population of Earth. So they have started producing meat, protein in the laboratory. They are 20 years, 30 years ahead of us. We should look at the niche. Ang problema po sa atin, short-sighted tayo. Ang nakikita natin ito, bukas, sa isang linggo. Yun lang yung nakikita natin na problema at yun lang yung tinatry natin isolve. We should be looking further than that. We should look 5, 10, 20 years ahead. And natutuwa po ako sa nabanggit ng ating kasama na dapat tinitingnan po natin yung opportunities. And we should be able to guide the co-ops where they should be placed. Otherwise, alam niyo naman ang style ng Pilipino, pag kumita yung lechong manok, lahat naglechong manok. Baka mamaya lahat ng co-op natin isang pinoproduce. So bagsak na naman ang presyo. So the CDA should get hold of that kind of positioning na siya yung magsasabi, ikaw co-op ka, dito ka. Kung sa Central Luzon, meron kaming W Growth Corridor, I believe in the entire Philippines, we know saan yung mga niche ng bawat area and the specific co-ops in those particular areas should be guided what to produce. Sabi nga doon sa isang Facebook post the other day, in order for a business to be really competitive, you have to know and address a particular problem. Ang problema po sa atin, yung ating mga businesses, produce lang ng produce, hindi tinitingnan yung bang product niya ay nagsaserve ng particular problem or particular need. So in the end, ang dami niyang product, walang market. So, sa akin po, sa part po ng DOST, we would want to see properly guided activities na mag-a-address ng specific need, specific problems, specific niche, such that all our activities, all our joint endeavors in coming up with the strengthened agri-ecosystem would not go to waste po. Salamat, sir.
Thank you, Director. It's good to hear your insights now because on the side of the CDA, we have to accept this, that we are very limited on the context of cooperative, as a cooperative. We pay attention to the governance and how the cooperative should be operating. We guide them in their administrative and their operations. No? That's why the DA and other agencies can introduce also with parallelism with yung modality nila, how they implement their programs and how co-ops should be guided as well. So as we introduce the programs of an agency, it is under knowledge now that or decision-making level that we are into this, because there is an agency that not only CDA that guides us on how are we going to do it. So that's how we complement, because we are not all, the CDA is not an expert on science and technology. The CDA is not an expert on agri, but to inform us both, no, the co-op sector and the CDA. That's like, for example, that you mentioned that you should be specifically focusing on this product so that surplus of this can be distributed to other regions, because you have to supply first your locality. Yun naman din ang concept din ng agris, and others are also providing other production or produce. So that's an area that we need to be supplemented. So that once we invite an agency like yours, introducing the importance of invention or the machineries that your inventors cooperative, our inventors cooperative, accredited by the UST and CDA, they can also present, or they can have this offering to the to the farmers cooperatives. May mga bago kaming makina. And the standards have been evaluated, pumasa sa DOST, pumasa sa DTI, pumasa sa DA. Then, considering that it is locally manufactured, these equipment or machineries are at par with the imported machines. And that's where CDA can come into play as well. That sasabihan namin ng co-op, hindi na tayo kukuha sa iba, then meron tayong mga locally manufactured na talagang quality, yung lifespan, mahaba din at the same time, yung after sales, nandyan din, yung maintenance, madali lang din. So I think that's an area that we need also to convey. So, as we give assurance to the cooperatives, doon na rin yung influence papasok, no, sa ng CDA na. I think it's the right time to patronize our own local inventions. It will be ito na, ngayon na, no? And of course, kung ano din ang produce nyo, doon din papasok ang PITC na, Myanmar, may kulang ba kayo dyan na sibuyas? Marami na kami sibuyas dito, hindi na kami problema. Hindi na kami nag-aagawan sa 400 to 700 pesos na kilo. So, things like that. So, it's an interplay. It's a dynamics of different agencies. And honestly, sir, we're really looking forward that your office can be tapped as we introduce this kind of activity. No? So, we will be more specific. We will help identify those inventors cooperatives. And tama yun, imamapping natin na ito yung mga inventors cooperatives that can provide support to agri. Then we will be in partnership with you. Then introduce what are the features, the advantages, and the benefits that our cooperatives can avail of. Thank you po. And I'm really looking forward to the partnership with you, sir. Now that we know that you're in charge of the inventors cooperatives. We will be disturbing you from time to time. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, just to summarize, the DOST calls for proper guidance of cooperatives in terms of niche, in terms of positioning, in terms of their operation as cooperatives. So, thank you very much, sir, DOST. Maraming salamat po. We are still very open to our for comments from our colleagues in the government sector. Sir? From DTI, sir?
Yes. Good morning. Sir. Good noon pala. Yusek and to all the members here and of CDA and from the other government agencies. Ako po pala si Ferdinand Apari, the Program Manager of DTI CARP, and I'm assigned in the Regional Operations Group. So we are headed by Yusek Bless Lantayon. And Dr. Chong, we met pero hindi lang po tayo nag-usap during the Antipolo, during the DTIY. I am very happy po that the CDA has come to with the framework. Although hindi lang naman ito applicable diba sa agriculture sector. So this is for the all cooperatives. So very happy po tayo diyan, and we will relay this framework doon sa ating sa management. We are also handling kasi DTI also has other programs aside from CARP. So we have OTOP, SSF, and all those other programs under the regional operations which can greatly benefit using this framework. And regarding doon sa mga collaboration natin sa trade fairs, it's very much welcome. Yun nga lang po, yung ating napupunta doon sa mga nagpo-qualify sa mga national fairs. Pagdating sa food products kasi, it's more on the processed and has the food safety features. Unless the trade exhibit or the is particularly doon sa mga semi-processed or processed. And then for the regional competitiveness business centers, although we have the similar centers, the negotiation centers in all cities and municipalities, maybe we can get na lang siguro mga information or collaterals or any AVPs which can be shown or made available should the client going into our centers be members of the co-op or are, they want to be part of the co-op. Ayun. So regarding naman doon sa procurement, I think we need to strengthen the cooperative to become suppliers doon sa procurement natin. Di ba meron naman tayo doon as of their, siguro sa education sector natin, lalong-lalo yun sa mga agriculture because sa yung mga RDCs natin or some of the local, meron na silang legislation for tawag nito to get yung kanilang mga pa-snack or during sa mga meetings yung mga ganon na i-source out nila locally. So if our cooperatives are ready, kailangan lang nila maalam doon sa paano sila mag-reach sa field jobs, mga requirements, yung mga technical na ganon. But if we can train most of these cooperatives to become local suppliers, then we can improve their capacity. I am very happy naman doon sa sa strategy on the agri co-ops so the mapping and inventory mapping. But since we have na the data for the 7,092 na agri co-op na yan, so maybe we can do yung yung focus, yung niche ng mga co-op na to, or we can do it kasi nga, di ba may regional offices naman kayo at may provincial offices po ba? Wala. So I think we can kung anong klase ng product or ng mga agricultural na co-ops yung talagang focus nila. Then on the part also of us sa DTI CARP with DAR and DOST, we do synchronization planning doon sa mga beneficiaries na sa tingin namin we can collaborate. So the CDA can really punta rin. I mean, we can do that, the synchronization planning, because yun nga, we don't like duplication of activities and the resources na ano natin. Pero yun lang, dun lang yun sa mga part ng sa CARP. Kasi kami 5%, hindi 0.5%. Hindi nga nag 1% yung kinikater namin ng mga total na MSMEs na kinikater ng CARP. Ng buong DTI. So, but then, doon sa particular namin, ang mga grupo doon is around 87%. Yung kinikater namin na nandun sa mga agrarian reform communities. Oo, yun. So, I think very nice naman. And then, yun kanina sa wala lang ako nakita doon. Ang present kasi is more on the existing co-ops. So, what about if sa pag-develop ng mga bagong co-ops, anong strategy yung ating doon, gagawin? So, will it be na dahil nandito kayo sa area na to, ang mga co-op dito na aming tawag nito, new na mga co-op would be on this particular, lang na kung agree, on this particular na mga commodities dapat yung kanilang ilalagay. So, I like doon sa existing co-op na i-strengthen natin sila. So kung dissolution man yun or kung reform, so I think that's a very good way to reassess ano ba yung mga capabilities ng mga co-ops nila. Then for the merger and consolidation, maganda yun. And for the federation, I believe eto lang kasi sila, kapag nagpe-federate ang co-op, doon nagkakaroon ng scale up. So, halimbawa, in Nueva Ecija, if I'm not mistaken, Director, the federation, the NEFEDCO there, the federation of marami, around 20 or 17 cooperatives involved in milk, sa mga milk. So meron din kami doon mga ina-assist. So that cooperative locally dito sa Philippines is I think is the leader for the dairy industry. So if we help yung ganung klase, I mean, kung nagkukumpul-kumpul sila doon, ma-identify natin yung mga co-op natin na in one particular, like for this example, in Nueva Ecija. So they can be the market leader of a particular industry where we can pour in also our services or our assistance. So ayun. And then yung last time natin na meeting, Yusek, naalala ko yung vetting process. This one is very important, especially those cooperatives accessing financing. So, di ba, yun, I mean, I don't know if okay na yung paano natin yung vetting process dun sa gagawin na para maging okay talaga na hindi na, pag pumalpak, sisihan. Di ba? So, yun, ano pa ba? Wala. Medyo marami ako ditong ni-notes, but I really like the way how it is, how it is presented. Ayun, and very much welcome ito to be presented also to our planners in the ROG, including the regional directors and the other assets. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just a comment on this now. First is, I like the term, no? The approach on the synchronization planning. And maybe we can instruct our regional directors to directly coordinate with the DTI, DOST, and DAR if they could be part of that synchronization planning and contribute as to the status of the cooperatives and the identity of the cooperatives and their potential in order to respond on the programs and plans of the DTI collectively. Kasi if the CDA can provide the necessary information because you have this synchronization planning identifying what production that will be promoted in a particular region, then the CDA can supplement those available cooperatives and can directly participate on this, and even on the availability of trainings and orientations or seminar or handholding programs. Second, yung vetting process, we can also provide the guidelines to the agencies to reinforce the cooperative capability to pay in case of there will be loans and financial assistance or soft loans be granted to them. Kasi nga, tama yun. Ayaw namin na, kasi itong CDA, nagbigay sa amin ng listahan, yung pala, hindi walang capability to pay or to, kasi ang baba ng interest ng government, like SB Core, no? Of course, we can provide that if the agency that requires more vetting process that will be involved or will be observed, then the CDA can respond to it. And lastly, yung new co-ops. With the inclusion of CDA into this so-called synchronization planning, we can now also reinforce to them and give them a heads up na, teka, ang gusto ng DTI, ang gusto ng DOST, ang gusto ng DA, mag-focus kayo sa ganitong production. Then we can encourage them. We can also encourage them. But you know, sa co-op kasi, parang free enterprise din ang dating eh. It's a matter of interest ng mga individuals. Because not all individuals are into agri. No? Ang iba, regular distribution of commodities, so nahulog sila sa consumers cooperatives. Yung iba, mas interested sa transport, kaya doon sila tutok. But with the participation of the CDA, let's say in the so-called synchronization planning, we can align our advocacy to your advocacy as well, and help propagate that in the regional base. Kasi nga, kung gusto nyo talaga magkaroon ng creation or establish cooperatives in the countryside or in the regional base, focusing on the agricultural industry, DCDA can be in partner with the cooperative development officers in the local government units and help us identify ano yung mga areas na may malakas ang agri activities, no? So, pwede kami maging supplemental dyan, sir, no? When it comes to the synchronization planning, and we are very interested on participating and contributing our perspective on that. So we can align our programs in the promotion of agri cooperatives. Our agri cluster will play a very important role in identifying areas that requires, parang sinasabi mo kanina, yung leader ng ganitong industry, ng production. So, sabi nga natin, ang Nueva Ecija, Mindoro, sila yung malakas sa sibuyas. Pero I don't know if there's a study right now being conducted by DA or maybe whatever agency that Jensen pala can be a very good source of onion production. Merong area doon sir na talagang ang soil quality nila, characteristics, is basically at par with Mindoro and with Nueva Ecija. So merong isang farm association or organization na talagang nagtatanim ng sibuyas. So they can be a source of that. So maybe our regional directors, it can be an approach na ang mga regional directors can come up with our own synchronization planning to identify yung mass-based needs. Kasi yun ang sinasabi ni Director kanina ng DOST, talagang sa baba pa lang napag-iwanan na. No? So even si Dr. Romoli, sinasabi sa baba pa lang napag-iwanan na. So I think the cycle right now should also consider the mass-based capability of our agri-farmers. But with the guidance of BTI and of course with other agencies and leaders.
Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. In addition to the inquiry of our colleague in the government, doon sa new co-op, sir, right now, the agency is focusing on the conversion of these existing associations and organization of farmers. And if ever in the locality there's already an existing co-op, we encourage them to join instead of creating another co-op. So yun po yung focus natin. For example po, yung NIA Irrigators Association, meron tayong MOA chairman and the board na isa-sign next week na convert sila into co-op. Kasi nga yung assistance is ng government is for the co-ops. And then, so yun po yung sa new, no? Nakafocus tayo sa, and even doon sa PCA, no? Yung sa mga coconut farmers, yung existing na organization and associations, kinakapacity natin sila para ma-change yung mindsetting nila from organizations to cooperative. And then po, doon sa federation, also the CDA advocates of creating federation in the province. So kung bawat munisipyo may mga co-op na agri sa isang province, if-federate sila para yung government assistance madaling makarating sa federation and to the members. So yun po yung additional information.
Thank you to
Yes.
Sige sir, sige sir.
Siguro, aside from the NIA, the DNR has around 1,700 people's organization. And I think they are still not DNR. The FMB, yung mga binigyan nila ng caretakership doon sa kanilang CBFM, yung mga ganun, either upland or lowland or coastal. So marami yun. So yung iba doon, na-assist namin kasi they go into the enterprise development na. Pero like 1% lang. Sorry, 1% lang ng total. So, pero marami daw sila na that can be economic, na pwede maging economic entity. So I think kasi grupo-grupo naman yun. So maybe you can...
Sige sir, we will look into that.
Okay, sir, to drive further the point of DTI, we have to strengthen the cooperatives as suppliers, and we should look into our basic data and make focus on the market leader and the commodities. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can instruct our agri-cluster to start with the basic data per region, no? And involve our regional offices also, so that we can supplement the agencies that has co-op programs as well.
Yes, sir.
So we can start with that, and maybe ASEC Boy can expedite the instructions down to the regional offices.
Yes, sir.
ASEC Penny. After ASEC Penny, maybe we could have one more
Sir, from
comment
From
the
DAR, sir.
from DAR. Then we can have a recess for lunch. Suspension of the proceedings for lunch. Then we will just resume at 1:15 siguro. So ASEC Penny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm ASEC Penny Disinban, ASEC in charge of CMPL, Consumers, Marketing Producers, and Logistic Cooperative Cluster. Gusto ko na po mag-add doon sa nabanggit ni ASEC regarding doon sa concern ng DTI. Particular doon sa gusto natin maging supplier, yung mga co-ops. In fact, in our cluster, yan po isa sa mga advocacy namin na maging policy ng government. In fact, ang DepEd, no, ginagawa na po nila yan. Doon sa pinapurchase nila na chairs and tables, no, sa kanilang buong Pilipinas regions, nag-allocate sila ng 10% para doon sa mga PWD cooperatives and 15% doon sa total na ipopurchase nila para sa mga regular cooperatives. At yung nagbibid lang doon ay mga cooperatives. Yung hindi co-ops, hindi sila pwedeng sumali kasi meron intended para sa kanila. So sana ganyan din yung ibang mga line agencies, particular doon sa mga producers, no, at marketing co-ops ng agri products. No, kasi yung mga LGUs natin, di ba? So yung institutional buyer natin, no? Yung kailangan talaga, sabi nga ng DOST. So yan yung kung tayo lang mismo sa government, no, ay magkaisa, magtulungan, magsuportahan. At yun din po yung balak namin dito sa ating committee, no, na magkatulungan tayo, ay malaking matutulong natin, particular dito sa pinoproblema natin mga agri-co-ops o yung mga farmers natin. Tulad nga ng binanggit niyo po sa DOST. Tama-tama po yan. Dapat i-encourage natin ang mga line agencies na yung product ng DOST. Yun ang unahin natin kasi atin yun eh. Kaysa gumawa pa tayo bumili pa tayo sa ibang bansa. No? So yan din po sa aming CMPL. Yung in-introduce namin, in-advocate namin sa mga co-ops sa buong Pilipinas. In fact, yung nabanggit kanina, barter trade. Ginagawa na po natin yung produkto ng taga Mindanao na napakarami sa kanila na gawa ng isang producer cooperative ay dinadala namin sa Luzon na wala naman doon sa co-op na yun sa Luzon. At ang pinambabayad nila po, yung produkto rin nila doon sa Mindanao. So, yan po yung isa sa mga ginagawa natin na may eliminate din natin yung middleman na siya lang nakikinabang dito sa business transaction ng mga farmers. So, napakaganda pong ginagawa natin ngayon na at least nagkakaroon po tayo ng effort na ma-unite yung kung ano man yung programs na gagawin natin. At magsisimula po yan sa ating line agency, yung pagtutulungan, tama yung sabi ni Ma'am na malaman natin kung ano yung mandate ng bawat agencies, no? At yung kanilang mga produkto. At nang sa ganon, ay magsama-sama po tayong tulungan yung mga cooperative natin, particular po yung agri-co-ops. Kasi malaking bagay po yung pagkakaisa natin. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ansel Penny. We can have one more, then we could suspend muna for lunch.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Would like to call on Sir Reggie of the DTI.
Sir Reg?
Sir, magandang umaga po, Chairman, at sa atin pong mga kasamahan. Yung akin pong director ay meron lang importante na concern. So, pero we really appreciate po yung naging presentation po kanina ng ating pong chairman ng CDA. Tungkol po doon sa framework, no? And then of course itong kay Deputy Administrator Ray Elibaso on the propose yung ating how we can work, no? Doon po sa framework na for fostering an agricultural cooperative ecosystem. Mayroon lang po akong ilan na gustong ibigay din dahil after po noong meeting noong February, parang namasyal po kami sa CDA, sir. Ang nakausap po namin sina DA Ray Elibaso at saka si ASEC. Si sir. At after po noong meeting na yon ay although verbal po yung naging pag-uusap at yung agreement, ay na-mention kasi ni Sir yung mga bago na mga cooperative na gustong mga associations and then they wanted to become cooperatives. Isa po sa naging pag-uusap po ay yung to tap yung mga local government units na mga cooperative development specialists. At ito po yung sinabi na rin namin sa mga DAR regional and provincial offices to multiply ourselves kasi kulang po din kami sa tao at saka yung sa CDA, alam naman natin na limited din po ang personnel sa provinces. Yun po yung isang ginawa kaya medyo nadadagdagan din po yung mga ARBOS natin na transforming into cooperatives. Then, yung meron din po kaming naging national assessment, Bicol, Visayas, and Mindanao batches. Yung Luzon ay coming pa. Assessing the AR cooperatives na meron po tayo. At isa po sa nakita doon, yun sir, yung inyo pong tamang-tama, yung inventory and mapping of co-ops kasi nga iba-iba yung mga figures. So, ginagawa na po namin ito ngayon and then yung record po din namin has to be updated and match it with the list of the CDA. Kasi sa amin, okay siya, pero yung pala, may problema sa CDA in terms of reportorial requirements and compliance. So yun po yung ginagawa po namin ngayon. We are doing this nationwide to really get the actual figures in terms of the numbers of AR cooperatives na meron po tayo sa mga agrarian reform communities. And then at least yun po ay medyo madali na siguro yung mga susunod pa na hakbang, and then we'll just confer with the list of the CDA. Yes. Tapos sir, yung pangalawa po, yung doon sa merger and consolidation program, kasi nakausap po namin yung may pilot testing yata na ginagawa, I think in Antique Province, sa Region 6. So medyo natanong po doon yung ating kasama from CDA na in-invite namin na first person. Pero ang medyo bitin dahil itatanong daw po sa inyo yung aming katanungan. So nire-raise ko na din po kasi baka itanong din sa ibang regions and provinces. Paano ang mangyayari doon sa primary cooperative na magiging part doon sa consolidation or merger, ano ang mangyayari doon sa mga assets nila, etc. etc. So, ang sabi ko naman, dahil sabi niya itatanong pa, baka pag-uusapan pa yung yung implementing guidelines. So, anyway, just the same, ay pinaparating ko po yung concern ng atin pong mga kasamahan sa region and sa province, lalo na po doon sa merger and consolidation. But, sa amin po, welcome development po ito, sir. Kasi last year pa nag-start na rin po kami yung advocacy and promotion for AR cooperative to federate. At saka yun pong alliance building and network building, and similar to the clustering of cooperatives na na-mention po natin dito ngayon. So parang feeling lang din namin na timely dahil parehas po yung ating advocacy ngayon at magkakatulungan po tayo para really yung mga cooperatives po natin ay magsama-sama talaga. Ang pressing concern lang po na lumabas during sa mga consultation and assessment doon sa dalawang Visayas and Mindanao, ang pa rin talaga po ay yung readiness and yung kahandaan ng organisasyon, mga primary co-ops, to really federate, and the need why they are going to federate. So ang sagot po namin doon initially, parehas lang din naman po tayo at na-mention ngayon. In terms of commodity or product or services na pwedeng magkaroon ng alliances, and then to meet bigger volume siguro ng institutional buyer, so tamang-tama din po itong ating discussions ngayon. Mas na-reinforce po yung amin din pong advocacy for coming up with AR co-op federations and alliances or clustering of the cooperatives. Opo. Yun po yung pangalawa. And then pang-apat lang ito. Ang pangatlo po ay yung product development and marketing of farmers' produce. Ito po yung mayroon kaming ginawa na spearheaded by DTI. Yun pong mga promotions ng ating agrarian reform cooperative products. At saka yung mayroon din kaming programa yung sa kasama ang DAR, yung sa against poverty, yung sa IPAP, yun yung isa sa pinalalakas natin na maging suppliers, yung mga cooperatives natin ng mga gulay, ng bigas, at dinadala ito doon sa mga BGMP natin, sa mga hospitals, and may mga restaurants, at saka kahit sa DepEd. So, yun po yung isa na parang lalo pa sanang palakasin at sinimulan na kasama po yung ibang ating mga agency. And then yung pang-apat po, yung capacity development na na-mention, yun pong with the AATI, mayroon po tayo ngayon pinopromote din to respond doon sa yung mga kabataan na parang malayo na ang puso nila doon sa agriculture, sa farming, through the Farm Business School na this is a learning by doing capacity development sa mga through the cooperatives and farmers associations, parang to become entrepreneurial, and then in farming, there is money, parang sinasabi natin na ganon, and then ang training ay may field application, may practicum. Parang leading to the establishment of learning sites for agriculture, na ipapakita sa community na yung mga kabataan makita nila na mayroong learning site ka dyan, mayroong mga models ng mga farm technologies, mayroong mga pinopromote sila ng mga products. Yun po yung isa sa advocacy natin ngayon. And I hope the other agencies would also join us because we are doing this with the AATI and partnership with the local government units at saka yung mga cooperatives po natin. It is an AR cooperative managed learning site for agriculture. So, in that case, baka ma-entice din natin yung mga kabataan, yung mga estudyante, doon po sa mga communities natin. At sinimulan po namin ito, mayroon na po tayong ngayon ay may siyam, and hopefully we can have 32 per region by the end of 2024. And maybe by 2025, by the end of the midterm, sana per province makapag-promote tayo ng ganito. So yun lang po, sir. At yung sa CDA na mapasama po doon sa ginagawa po ng DAR, DOST at DTI, Synchronization Planning Workshop, ay pwede na din po namin ito initially masabi doon sa aming mga counterparts. And at least sir, siguro yung sinabi po ninyo na yun pong ating mga discussions today, may paabot sa top management, mamaya po si Director andito naman din, ay at least mayroon po kaming ideya tungkol po doon sa ating mga discussions. And it is a very welcome development po sa amin sa DAR dahil talagang lalong mapapalakas po yung kilusang kooperatiba para sa lalong pag-angat ng buhay ng mga magsasaka. Maraming salamat po, sir. At salamat din po sa ating mga.
Thank you. Before I'll give the floor to ASEC Clark to answer issue number 2. Sir, may quick lang. What agency is the lead on the synchronization planning? DTI ba? Because we'd like to express our participation on that.
We are coordinating it with DAR being the lead agency implementing CAR.
Yes.
But then sa ibang mga regions kami ay yung mga tao doon yun.
So what would be the right protocol? Are we going to write DAR secretary that the CDA regional offices can be part of your synchronization planning in the regional level so that can supplement all the programs and action plans or DTI na kami?
Sa DTI naman, okay na. I think it's with DAR siguro.
With DAR na lang. Okay. Sige, and before I give the floor to ASEC Clark, of course sir, no, yung initiative ng DAR to federate the beneficiaries, yung mga cooperatives, I hope you could invite CDA also to be part of your team because you're also reaching out sa mga LGUs, no? Inumpisaan nyo na. And as to further explain the importance and the benefits out of it, maybe CDA can also be part of your working group on that level, sir. ASEC Clark will answer the importance of yung merger and consolidation, kung anong mangyari sa mga assets and mga resources. Then after ASEC Clark, we'll have the recess.
Thank you, sir. Talaga nang kailangan natin yung DAR, sir, at saka sana mas strengthen din natin yung partnership kasi meron din kami mga konting concern sa ating mga beneficiaries ng agrarian reform. So, sir, darating naman yung director niya pa, yun natin kausapin, sir. Yeah. Sir, doon sa merger and consolidation, kasi may mga beneficiaries din po na baka makasali sa merger and consolidation, bali po, yung asset nila, and I believe it's also liabilities, no? Pag sama-samahin na po yun, sir, iisa na lang ang magiging pangalan ng co-op. Let's say, 10 silang mag-merge. Iisa na lang ang co-op na mag-i-exist doon. Tama ba ako sa merger? May mag-i-exist na isa. May isang mag-i-exist. Kung ayaw naman nila na may isang mag-i-exist, they can go on consolidation. Walang pangalan na mag-i-exist, magbubuo sila ng panibagong pangalan. So, ang kanilang mga asset, liabilities, pagsamasamahin nila yun. But this is an advocacy of CDA, sir. This is on top of the regular program ng CDA na meron talaga. Pero ito ay micro and small lang. Pag micro and small, maliliit lang po yung kanilang mga asset, mas lalo siguro maliit ang kanilang liabilities. So pag samasamahin po ito, magiging iisa na lang po sila. Yung members nila, iisa, hindi naman mawawala yung listahan ng kanilang mga share capital, so andun pa rin. Pero one na lang sila as one.
Sige po, ma'am. Thank you for that, ma'am. Pero siguro maghingi na lang din po kami noong
Yes,
pinakang...
merong guidelines
Yes,
kasi
ma'am.
pwede namin kayong bibigyan. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
We will suspend the session first, and to finish everything by 3 o'clock, we'll just resume around 1:15 or 1:20 so that we can entertain few questions, then we're into the last two portions of our session. So session suspended, we'll have our lunch.
Our lunch will be available at the managed buffet setup. So the buffet area is at the leftmost corner of this venue near our door. For those who will be needing
Agencies would like to provide more comments and recommendations. Hearing none. Okay, so we shall proceed, Lester.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We are expecting, the Secretary is expecting for the putting into motion the question to be put forward in the committee on the subject, do we have your agency's commitment and support in the presented framework of strengthening of agri-ecosystem? Page number 8.
Okay, so do we have your agency's commitment and support in the presented framework of strengthening the agri system? Of course, with the inclusion of your comments and recommendations in order to come up with the polished, fine-tuned agri-ecosystem that will be submitted also to your respective agencies, and expecting a response coming from your respective departments. Can we hear a comment? If there's a yes or no, or from the agencies? Yeah.
It is up to the committee to say if it's going to be put into motion.
Are we going to adopt this presentation and to be submitted to your respective agencies? Of course, we're going to include and integrate your comments, no? And your recommendations. Or any further comments or discussion that would provide us the proper guidance on this. DTI, DART? Yes, DOST?
I believe that in principle, we agree with the proposed strengthening of the agri-ecosystem, and we support the same subject to alignment with the programs of assistance of our respective agencies.
So we've heard the DOST's motion. Can somebody would like to second on this? There's a second from the PFDA. So the motion being moved by DOST is duly seconded and shall be adopted. Oops. So the next matter for this is our secretariat to present. Lester, please.
Yes, the next matter for moving is for the crafting of the NCCCD Subcommittee on Agriculture Industrialization resolution of commitment and support of the CDA and other national government agencies in the framework of strengthening of agri-ecosystem.
So we're going to present to you a draft resolution number 1, and this resolution will be submitted to the member agencies of our committees, respectively the agricultural and industrialization clusters. And before we proceed, Secretariat, do we expect comments from the head of agencies as we submit this resolution? Do we expect that as well? Okay, sige. But nonetheless, this is our resolution. No? So, Lester, would you like to read for that to be apprised?
The Secretariat is obliged. The NCCCD Resolution Number 1 Series of 2023, whereas the President pronounced in his recent SONA, or State of the Nation address, that, quote, our aim is to boost our local agriculture production through consolidation, modernization, mechanization, and improvement of value chains, augmented by timely and calibrated importation as needed, upang mas mapabilis at mapadali ang pagbuo ng kooperatiba. Kakailanganin natin ang suporta ng Kongreso na maamyendahan ang Cooperative Code. Sa pamamagitan nito, unti-unting lalakas ang kanilang produksyon at puwersa sa merkado. Totoo ang kasabihan, mas malakas kung sama-sama, unquote. Whereas, the following presidential directives were issued by the Office of the President through the Executive Secretary. To wit, number 1, CDA or Cooperative Development Authority to identify the resources and strategies needed to develop more agricultural cooperatives and enhance the management skills of these cooperatives. Item number 2, strengthen the CDA towards accelerating the consolidation of agricultural cooperatives and to provide additional funding for this purpose. And DE or Department of Agriculture to accelerate farm and fishery clustering and consolidation, as well as establishment of livestock multiplier farms and strengthen biosecurity and disease control measures to protect the country's livestock from various illnesses. Whereas, in response, the CDA conducted a workshop tackling the proposed framework for fostering an agriculture cooperative ecosystem. Whereas, the output of said workshop was presented for further comment and crystallization with the NCCCD Agriculture Industrialization Subcommittee. Now, therefore, upon the motion of and unanimously seconded by the members of the National Coordinating Committee for Cooperative Development, NCC-CD Subcommittees on Agriculture Industrialization, be it resolved as it is hereby resolved to approve the herein presented and fine-tuned cooperative agricultural framework and commit its full support and assistance through programs and project interventions in the realization and attainment of this framework, which is geared towards strengthening agriculture cooperatives to ensure food security as directed by the President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Unanimously approved. Mr. Chair, this is the draft resolution to be put into motion.
Thank you, Secretariat. Do we have a motion to approve the NCCCD Subcommittee on Agriculture and Industrialization Development Resolution dated August 31, 2023 of commitment and support of CDA and NGAs in the framework of strengthening of agri-ecosystem? Any movement for this? Yes, sir.
I believe that the resolution per se would need some improvements, no?
Yes, sir.
Especially in form and substance. So I don't know if it would be proper to approve it right now.
Okay.
given that there would have to be improvements on the same. So I don't know what would be the pleasure of the.
Yeah, I'll just listen to your comments, and since this is still subject also for discussion, but may I just ask the distinguished gentleman if how and what particular area that we need to improve or to substantiate, so that we can maybe attach this one to our resolution as part of our output.
Particularly, Mr. Chair, relative to the interventions, I think we could sum up the earlier discussion to include strategic, no? Because all those activities are, whether we like it or not, those are the usual activities and programs that we implement in the regions and in the provinces. And as I suggested earlier, it is very critical that the approach with which we may want to improve the ecosystem would have to be very strategic, taking into consideration the niches, the needs, and the current state of science and technology that may be implemented. So I would be very happy if we could insert the word strategic in the document, Mr. Chair.
Noted. Any more suggestions? We could somehow, somebody can move to park this one and come up with the final draft of the resolution with all the inclusions that you want to be part of it. And as what the DOST suggested, maybe strategic, the word strategic. Plans or activities should be stipulated. Anybody would like to add more or recommend the additional maybe provisions that you want to be stipulated or cited in this resolution aside from the OST? Maybe PhilMec can provide some comments on this resolution so that before we finalize it, we could share it to you for comments, then come up with the final structure.
Bali, okay naman po sir yung resolution po natin. I-attach lang po siguro natin yung mga present din po for reference din po sir nung top management din po namin, lalo na po yung aming director. Para po bago po siya, kung kailangan pong pumirma po dyan yung head po ng agency po ng PhilMec, may reference din po siya.
Noted.
Thank you po.
Noted. Anybody would like to add from PhilMec or BFAR or PCA? Maybe Dar at that?
Sir, yung hindi ako mapakali eh.
Go ahead, sir. You have the floor.
Yung na-mention po kasi kanina ni Ma'am Asek Pardillo, yung tungkol doon sa consolidation, kung magiging part siya dito later. Yung mga primary cooperatives na kasama po doon yung mga agrarian reform cooperatives na assisted by the department. Yung mawala yung kanilang identity, and then may isa na tatayo as the main body, no, yung consolidated. So parang may kasi siya sa amin, yung mawala yung identity nila, na hindi na sila yung kanilang pagiging independent organization nila. So may bearing sa amin po yun, yung pagkawala ng kanilang identity as an organization, as a cooperative. And then kung ganun man na may pilot testing na ginagawa ngayon sa Antique, and isa po yun sa itinanong doon sa island-wide na assessment ng ating mga ARBOS. So yun nga, na i-repair daw yung and then there is this guideline na maging available naman. Pero batay po doon sa sagot kanina, parang mawawala yung kanilang identity, i-consolidate yung mga assets and including liabilities as well. So, parang siguro magkaroon din kami ng discussions doon sa amin sa DAR, sa management side sa DAR, because may bearing po ito doon sa magiging kalagayan ng mga our primary organizations na hopefully mapasama kung sasama sila sa consolidation. But I believe na yung process po ng consolidation na gagawin ay voluntary naman siguro ito.
Yes.
Voluntary naman. So, yun lang din siguro yung concern na gusto ko pong maiparating. But overall, on the consolidation, the clustering of cooperatives, ano po yan po talaga yung napapanahon sa ngayon. Lalo na po in terms of the common services, common commodities or products na dapat magsama-sama para mas malakas yung boses na nakalagay naman din sa resolution.
Okay.
Thank you po.
We've taken down note on that, sir. No? Definitely, the merger consolidation will be part of this framework. But if I'm going to answer that, there could be possible exemption to it. But our Deputy Administrator for RCES can maybe share some insights on it and maybe how we can align your perspective to our objective as well. Ma'am, you're recognized.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, for the consolidation and merger, who will consolidate are the same category. So it will be primary to primary, secondary to secondary. So in the case of RCs, of ERCs, if they will consolidate it they will be consolidating it with another type of cooperative. Tama po. Baka mawala po yung pagiging ERCs nila, and I don't think so na, for example, yung mga ibang CLOA, hindi siya pwedeng mai-consolidate. Ang pwedeng mangyari kasi is for the ERCs, yung lahat ng mga ERCs ang mag-consolidate para hindi mawala yung pagiging beneficiary nila. So, they can still consolidate, pero para hindi mawala, siguro ang mga constituent cooperatives are ERCs din, mga agrarian reform cooperatives din. So mas lalaki din sila, except if the ERCs are CLOA. Yung CLOA yung ano nila, parang hindi siya pwedeng i-consolidate din. So yun po, pwede po silang mag-consolidate ng mga ERCs para mas lalong lumaki din po sila.
Sige, maybe if you could consider CDA, sir, as one of your resource persons during your discussion level with your agency, and on the context that the CDA can elaborate more on the approach on consolidation and merger, then we could fine-tune that, aligning to the mandate of your agency and programs. So we welcome that idea, and just give us a notice as to when would be our participation on that, so that our contribution in explaining would help crafting the guidelines for this merger and consolidation.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, ma'am. I am raising this concern because even within the department itself, even the mere delisting of the already those in the master list of the ARBOS assisted by the department is not that easy. Yung delisting process ay hindi po ganun baga ini-encourage. No? So except for extreme cases like yung deteriorating peace and order problem in the area, wala na yung mga tao. So mayroong kaming gano'n na na-approve in the past. Pero generally, hindi po talaga inaalaw yung mga pag-delisting even though may mga lalo na yung mga may mga obligations kasi yun po yung isang concern. And then isa pa, yun pong sinabi ni Ma'am na yung mga ARBOS namin na marami din ay mga AR cooperatives, ARCs Ma'am, ano? Yun yung, kasi iba sa amin, iba yung ARC eh. Agrarian Reform Community po yun pagka sa amin. Pero alam ko sa CDA, Agrarian Reform Cooperatives, parang yun yung sir. Yun lang po at thank you sir at siguro doon sa discussion na gagawin ay sa ipaparating po namin sa aming top management kasi may concern po kami kung ang isang AR cooperative na nag-exist as primary organization ay ma-dissolve at mawawala ang kanyang identity. Mukhang may problem po kami on our part. Yun lang po. So, mag-invite siguro kami sir and maybe for a special meeting na mention naman po ng director, nag-usap kami kagabi na baka mag-invite talaga po kami sa inyo. And may other concern pa ma'am, sir, yung sa strengthening and formation ng mga cooperatives.
Okay.
Thank you sir.
Thank you. DRA first, then ASEC Lazada, in that order.
Sir, just to add, sa option po ng DAO, baka pwede niyong i-consider at federation. It has an effect in economies of scale also, consolidation. Mas freer, mas autonomous pa rin yung primary. Thank you, sir.
May similarization naman yung consolidation at saka merger sa pagiging federation din. Halos magkapareho lang. Parang mangga, with different variety. Parang ganun. Okay? ASEC Boy, you recognize?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. I noticed that it was only food security. It was food security was stipulated in the resolution. I believe that food security and food sufficiency should be included as part of the resolution, so that we will be able to do anything in the event that we will be encountering the food insufficiency. Food sufficiency and food security should go together.
Okay, so thank you, ASEC Boy. No? I think there is a first resolution being raised here, no? Which was presented by DOST, that the commitment is to somehow, the presented framework, subject to the alignment of your respective agencies' PPAs. No? I think that's also the bottom line issue there coming from DAR, and it's been somehow seconded and supported by PFDA. So I think it's very clear that that first resolution that we should consider is to really establish the alignment of the respective agencies. Kasi nga, it might be taking off from the words of the USD, it will be very difficult to approve right now without looking at the specific PPAs of the agencies this year and onwards. No? But that's a matter of identification, harmonization, at the same time synchronizing all the way forward actions to be taken by our agencies. And the second resolution maybe, we can adopt this one in unison, is to edit the resolution that we're going to provide, and coming from those recommendations, comments, and maybe insertions that would be clearly stipulated in this resolution. Okay, I think we're very clear with that. So again, the first resolution for us to, there are two resolutions to carry out this NCCCD resolution number 1. Okay, the alignment of the respective agencies' PPAs and the finalization or edit of this proposed resolution number 1. Any more comments? Yes, DTI.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just inquiring sana. Di ba marami po tayong subcommittee under the NCCD?
Yes, sir.
Will we be coming up with a single resolution pertaining to this one?
Yes, sir.
Or the resolution that will be coming up today, or yung yan, will be parang kagaya po ba sa mga RDCs, meron mga resolution yung bawat committee.
Then approve it as one.
Yeah. Ganun
Okay.
po ba yung ganun po ba yung magiging...
Yes, sir. That is the intent. Because after this, we're going to meet also other subcommittees for this framework. So if your manifestation, if I'm right, no, is if we're going to adopt this one and present it to other resolutions, and we could call for the final NCCCD, which comprise the entire subcommittees.
Yeah.
Then final presentation, if that
Yeah,
is that your manifestation?
that's my manifestation, Mr. Chair.
Sige. Okay, so there's a third, there's a manifestation here that once we carry this resolution, it shall be presented to other subcommittees as well and come up with one final major resolution as NCCCD. Okay? So would you like to set that as a motion, sir? So that the subcommittee can agree with you and second it and have it presented sa next or subsequent meetings with the other subcommittees?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to move for the inclusion na lang po of the resolution that the subcommittee will be coming up to be presented on the committee level in a meeting sometime in kung kailan man yun.
Yeah, okay.
So that all the comments and suggestions or mga ito-consider pa sa resolution will be sabihin na natin coherent and aligned dun sa mga mapag-uusapan.
Sige. So before we carry or adopt the previous manifestations, let's consider first the manifestation coming from DTI that this action and the proposed presentation of the resolution number 1 shall be also presented to the subsequent or upcoming subcommittee meetings, and make it part of the whole presentation of the NCCD. Any second to that? Coming from this subcommittee, that this resolution will be part of the presentation in the next subcommittee meetings. Second by Department of Agrarian Reform. Sige, so I think somebody has to move now to consider the proposal, no, or the manifestation that the commitment to be presented to the presented framework will be subject to the alignment of their respective agencies and PPAs. Then second is to edit the entire resolution, including all those comments and recommendations coming from NGAs. Can somebody move for that so that isahin na lang natin itong first at saka second. So there's a move from DOST. Any second? Second by the DTI. Okay, I think there's a unanimous resolution here that this resolution number 1 will be subjected to the inclusion of those alignment of the respective agencies' PPAs, and it will be subject also for editing. Then we will provide them a copy. Of course, they will also provide their further comments before we carry and adopt the resolution with finality. Okay? So, Secretariat, you may proceed.
Yes, the Secretariat is happy to note that we are now done. The approved list of agenda. We are now completed the list of agenda. We may now invite Assistant Secretary Virgilio R. Lazaga for the message of support of the CDA Cluster for Agriculture Cooperatives.
Our Undersecretary Joseph Cabo, ASEC Inunda, ASEC Disimban, and all the rest, the regional directors and our deputy directors, all the personalities in attendance for different agencies. A pleasant good afternoon to all of you. Well, in my own opinion, no word can really express my gratefulness for having this reality come true activity. Thank you so much for your attendance. And as the head of the Agricultural Cooperatives Cluster, I humbly express my support to this endeavor. It cannot be denied that the Philippines is still an agricultural country, whether we like it or not. This is why, for our country's progressive sustainable development, I urge everyone in this room who represents their respective offices to please come, join all of us in CDA, as CDA continues to strive to serve even better. We have respective roles to play. But more than anything else, we cannot allow to see our farmers and poor Filipino families to starve further. Farmers are the ones feeding the millionaires, the billionaires, including all of us. But they do not have enough backs to feed themselves. So we have to take advantage of our respective positions. The divine precepts is our golden rule. Do unto others what we want others to do unto us. And we have the human precepts. And we have the human precepts as represented by President Bongbong Marcos to fight the number 2 enemies of our country, which is poverty and hunger. His further instructions are: make the food available and affordable. Good level of production, no importation. We do not have to rely on imports. Keep the prices down. Help the Bureau of Soil, the aquaculture, the biotech research for fisheries and all agri-products. We have to partner with the local and international levels. PPP, he emphasized that. Involve the big and the small enterprises. Farmer co-ops have a very critical role. And I am here to plead to all of you to please help and support
the cost of production to bring it down. We have to consolidate, merge, federate. Initially, if we can do that at 50 to 100 hectares per co-op, until such time that we have reached the 1,000 hectares target of the government. We have to mechanize. Thank you, Philmec, you are here. Provide machineries. Support the RCEP through machineries and involve the irrigators. And I'm calling the attention of all of us here in the CDA to please help convert the associations into cooperatives. That is the mandate of the CDA, not only CDA, but the clear instruction from the PBBM, from our president. And finally, through the leadership of Pasik Joy, we were able to put or to bring our budget to a more considerable amount so that we will be able to function well in our office. We will be able to make it bigger and resilient. On top of the aforesaid interventions in our CDA agri-cluster, last Tuesday, for your information, we visited aquaculture cooperatives in Butuan Sea. The fishermen or the fisher folks or the fishes were a bounty, but feeds were scanty. So they are all requesting for a storage facilities, processing plants, and improve their power supply. So the bottom line here is our cooperative pledge. Alone, we are weak, but with you around, we are strong. So thank you very much, and we are expecting your support.
Thank you very much, Assistant Secretary Virgilio Boy Lasaga. Before we end up these proceedings, I'd like to invite everyone for a photo opportunity. And on behalf of the Cooperative Development Authority, the entire hardworking staff, please accept our heartfelt thanks to all of you, and looking forward to a better partnership with your respective agencies for a better and brighter future para sa isang bagong Pilipinas. Is there any further business to come before this committee?
Sir Byron, sorry, asik nyo yung sabi.
Hearing none, there being no further business, I call in for a motion to adjourn. Anybody? There's a move for adjournment. Any second? Hearing second, the meeting stands adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you for attending the meeting of the National Coordinating Committee for Cooperative Development, Subcommittee on Agriculture and Industrialization. We now invite everyone to join us in the photo opportunity. Also, after the photo opportunity, the Secretary would like to announce that the certificate of attendance is now ready on the registration booth. Thank you.